What up, what up, what up? You are live and direct on Petty Sports, the podcast, brought to you by Kingz Broadcasting Studios. It's your boy, the host. They call me Famous Fees. They also call me Facts. I got my man Adam right next to me. Holla at him.
What is going on, everybody? You already know what time it is. Another fantastic week in the NFL, but even better, another great episode of Petty Sports back here on a Wednesday night. Don't forget, call the show, and it's not about where we are. It's about where you listen to your content. So make sure you hit us with a sub. Check us out on all platforms, all social media feeds. We got a hell of a lineup tonight, man, and I couldn't be more excited. Let us know what's up, bro.
Hey, man, we breaking this thing down tonight. We got NFL, we got NBA, we got NFL, we got NFL. Did I say we got NFL again? Yeah, we're going to talk about a little bit of Cam Newton. NBA season opened up last night. We had LeBron and them playing against Steph and them. We had KD versus Giannis. It was a great opening night for the NBA. We're going to do Week 6 power rankings through the first 6 weeks of the season. We got a couple of dope little segments waiting on you for the NFL. We definitely got to give you the picks at the end of the night. So, man, y'all, as always, get your popcorn ready, get your drink, get you a good stick, tune in, take notes, because it's about to go down. So, man, we ain't going to waste none of our time because we got way too much to cover. Off the top, Cam Newton is vaccinated. Right, okay. And his phones are blowing up, man. Like, so now he's gotten the vax. And the latest news is he's supposed to be he's in talks with Seattle to go to the Seahawks to pick up for Russell Wilson. So the question for you is, can Cam Newton cook in Russell Wilson's kitchen?
I think he could, absolutely. When you look at, Cam Newton's play style, how he's been in his whole career, yeah, he's not exactly like Russell Wilson's, but he's gonna give you a big arm. He's not going to be as accurate, but he's a big play guy. He's a dude that can make really any type of play for a football team. We know that. We've seen the MVP, but we've also seen, and you brought up a great point about this when we first figured out we were throwing it into the lineup, man. He has a chance to throw to some of his best receivers he's ever had, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and I know there's a bunch of other dudes on Seattle. They love to air the ball out. They love to make it cook. But also another thing that I think Cam would bring to the table that Russ wouldn't is being more of a running quarterback, more of a guy that can give you a Josh Allen, maybe a Kyler Murray, a real strong guy presence back there in the pocket to run more effective, because if you look at Seattle, they're not a team that can effectively run the ball, and they're always struggling for a healthy running game. So it'll be good. You wait for Russ to come back. He's healing up the thumb. You still got Geno in the ballot, so that's a good question for that team, but I'm game for it. Give Cam another shot because I hate how the Patriots just snipped him off like that, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but I mean, Cam definitely has juice left in the tank. I mean, he basically all but was forced to go ahead and get vaxxed because that seemed to have been the extreme issue with why he was not able to get signed. He said he was receiving multiple offers, but nothing that he wanted to move on. He said he wanted to wait until it was the right one.
Right.
And they didn't say it was going to be this one, but in an interview with ESPN's Mike Salt, Pete Carroll did say that he came out on record, was like, just so you know, we've talked to him.
Right.
And he's like, said they're talking to anybody that could help them. So he kind of tried to make it seem like, anyone who could give us an edge, we've been talking to him. But he did make it a point to let them know that he had spoken to Cam Newton. And if you just look at Cam Newton's personality and the personality of Pete Carroll, a.k.a. Willy Wonka, I think that's a match made in heaven. I mean, Pete Carroll skips across the sideline. You would never know that man was over 70 years old. Like, I don't know what kind of shape he's in or what it is that he does on a regular basis, but
he's on a TB12 plan.
Yeah, like, I mean, this dude is ageless.
Yeah.
But he's a fun-loving guy. And I think his personality with Cam's, I think it would mesh extremely well.
Yeah.
Russ is out another 4 to 6 weeks. So, I mean, they're going to have to figure something out. Geno Smith is definitely not the answer. So, bringing Cam in, I think, would instantly at least sustain Seattle.
Right.
It's not like he would make them an instant contender or anything like that, but he's light years better than Geno Smith. And Seattle is looking very bad right now in a very tough division where they've recently also seen San Francisco fall.
Exactly. In a tough division that's doing nothing but speed up. And we talked about the Michael Thomas trade. That would be a move that would, I feel like would slow Seattle down in an ever-evolving division. And now you're talking about Cam Newton. That would up the ante from a Geno Smith. You can't tell me that it wouldn't. Geno Smith was throwing passes for the first time in how many years? Come on now, Cam Newton was just in the NFL last year. He's got juice in the tank.
And, I mean, even to add to that, the last time that Pete Carroll saw Cam Newton on a football field was last season.
Right.
In Seattle, where Cam threw for 397 yards, a touchdown, had another 11 carries and 2 rushing touchdowns.
Yep.
I mean, and that was a 35-30 thriller where they easily could have lost the game. So, I mean, what his last impression of Cam was like, hey, that guy can still play.
Yep.
I mean, I can absolutely see him going to Seattle. They need to make it happen.
I would love to see it. Way to revive a career. Give him DK Metcalf. Give him another strong dude that's so physical. Really like mindsets, man. I'd love to see it happen.
Absolutely. Cam to Seattle with the 12s, with Pete Willie Wonka Carroll. It's perfect. Let Cam cook. How about that?
There we go.
Does he get Sierra too?
Right.
No,
oh, whoa, Fees. Sheesh.
Hey, these are just jokes. Chill out.
Wow, you definitely hit me on left field with that one.
So, man, we're going to move into the top 4 games of Week 6 because Week 6 was crazy. It was actually hard to choose the games. But at the top of the docket, we got to go with America's team. The Dallas Cowboys got their first win over New England in 25 years in an overtime thriller. Ended in a walk-off touchdown for CeeDee Lamb.
Wild game.
So, I mean, did the Patriots crack the Cowboys? Like, did they crack the code for the Cowboys, or has New England kind of figured something out? What's happening?
I feel like New England has kind of figured something out with Mac Jones, because if you look at the kid week in and week out, he's being allowed to do, like we talked about, just a little more each week. And, he's feeling kind of down, right, after the pick 6 to Trayvon Diggs. But we're talking about first play right after, like, let's go attack the guy, 75-yard bomb, double move. Like, I love the fearlessness. I love the absolute factor that he would go out there and he wouldn't shy away from the moment, because he's going to be a guy on the field. This guy's an MVP talks, and we're talking about him in a greater facet later on in the show. But when you talk about the Patriots run game, 4.7 yards per carry, and also 2 touchdowns there as well. It's kind of shocking to see that the Cowboys did have the 5th best run defense in the NFL. Patriots go out there, and that doesn't even feel like a factor. I mean, they're able to kind of push the Cowboys around in this game, and that shows you, look, Cowboys get a team that's got another really smart man on the other side of the field for the head coach. It's going to be a battle for you, no question. But you look at, the Patriots never had a drive of more than 4 plays until the 4th quarter. So the fact that was in play, the fact that the Cowboys were clicking so much on offense, I mean, you've talked about it. The offense is absolutely ridiculous. With New England being able to take it down to the wire, it shows you that the Cowboys have some sort of scheme within them that, hey, you can push them around on the field. And yeah, they got away with the W. And I know you don't like moral victories, but I would feel great as a Patriots fan today.
Yeah, I mean, I don't stand for moral victories in the slightest.
I know. I know.
What you saw out there was some extremely undisciplined football meshed together with extremely arrogant play calling. Just to start the game off, they went for a 4th and 1 on their own 34 and missed it, and that's how New England went up 7-0.
Yep.
That's why the yards and the play discrepancy was so ridiculous, because New England was working with a lot of short fields. I mean, if you looked at the actual stats from the game, you would be mind blown at how it is that this game went to overtime.
Right.
I mean, Dallas had 32 first downs to New England's 17. They ran 82 plays to New England's 50. You ran 32 more plays than the other team, and y'all went to overtime?
Right.
How is that even possible? They outgained New England by 232 yards. The turnover battle was even, but the turnovers were not created equal.
Right.
There was a goal line fumble and then a red zone interception. It's like you move the ball the length of the field, then you turn the ball over in the end zone, and then you turn around, you get stops. But it's like they weren't doing what they were supposed to do. So, I mean, you look at the penalty discrepancy, 12 penalties for 115 yards for Dallas. They were 3 for 13 on 3rd down and 2 for 4 on 4th down. They had very aggressive and arrogant play calling, extremely undisciplined plays, and they just didn't capitalize like they were supposed to.
Yeah.
The game was way closer than it should have been. But that being said, New England did what they were supposed to do. I mean, the number 5 rush defense, just like I told you a couple of weeks ago, that was all relative to who Dallas had played and the way their offense is playing.
Right.
When your offense is clicking and you're scoring a lot of points, other teams abandon the run. So they actually don't run very often.
Yeah.
Same thing for Tampa. When teams abandon the run against you, all of a sudden you have the best rush defense in the league, but your rush defense actually isn't that good.
Yeah.
People aren't making attempts. So, I mean, New England played as well as they could have. I mean, someone should probably tell Mac Jones that Trayvon Diggs isn't who you should be throwing the ball at.
He is the defensive player of the year currently.
Like he went at Trayvon Diggs like he thought his name was Mac Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. Jones. What are you doing? You threw a pick six and you turned around and threw it at him again. It did work the second time, but that was just a blown coverage.
Yeah.
But like even on the pick, like it was a slight overthrow. The ball should have been caught.
Right.
So, I mean, there were multiple times where receivers did drop the ball, but I think the training wheel's got to be taken off the New England offense. I don't think they've quite figured anything out yet until we see a time where they let Mac put up 30, 35, 40 passes in a game and just unleash him. They're running the ball too much. They're punting, kicking entirely too often. It's way too vanilla, way too just conservative.
Yep.
I mean, Dallas they've showed that they can win close games. They can score points. Even though this game was tight, they still put up 35 points.
Yeah.
I mean, it's understood that it doesn't matter who you are. If you play against the Cowboys, you're going to have to score 30-plus or you're not going to win.
100%. And you look at New England with 2 first-half turnovers, and the fact that the Cowboys were able to rebound from that, the fact that this offense in general of New England's was able to hang with the Cowboys, it's unacceptable on Dallas's part. So I think it definitely speaks figures.
Yeah, I mean, by the numbers, it didn't hang with them. It was just...
Oh, by the numbers, no. But I mean, look at the turnovers and look at the positions that the Patriots put themselves in certain parts of that game. I mean, they made plays when they had to. They hung in there. I know the score. I know the numbers are different, but I'd be happy about the score, definitely.
I mean, my blood pressure's still high.
You still there? Still watching the game?
I haven't recovered. It's going to take a blowout for the Jets for me to get over that. I'm just not there yet. Man, next game on the slate, man, we had the Arizona Cardinals. They just completely flexed their undefeated muscles against the Cleveland Browns. It was embarrassing the way they beat them in Cleveland. Baker Mayfield got hurt. I mean, they lost another running back. I'm not sure how long is Kareem Hunt going to play next week?
I'm not sure. Well, tomorrow, rather. I'm really not sure. I know Baker's not.
So, I mean, at this point, are the Cleveland Browns the most disappointing team in football?
I have to say one of the most disappointing, absolutely. When you talk about the roster, the expectations, the way that they played last year, how this team was meshing together, and we've said it, they were a fourth down call away with Chad anything is possible in from Mahomes from potentially going to the AFC title game. So this team, emotions were running high, like they've got physicality. But when you look at what, Cleveland has been this year, Baker's not playing well this season so far at all. 6 touchdowns, 3 picks, and again, not being able to win a football game with his arm, with his intellect. You're in a tough division. You're talking about riding with elite teams. You're talking about being a Super Bowl contender. These are things you have to do. They're struggling again with a mobile quarterback in Kyler Murray. And when you talk about what this Browns team was last year, it feels like they've turned to 180 the way that they've played so far in the NFL season. And I know they're down 2 linemen. I know they're down a couple of receivers. I know they're down a couple running backs now. It's not looking good for Cleveland. But if there's one thing I got to say, the unnecessary, ignorance of Odell Beckham, he is a clear number 1 option. And okay, so here's the thing. He had his second best game of the season and still got outplayed like that. I mean, it's a Hail Mary away from a 30-point loss. So definitely one of the most disappointing teams in the NFL. And I guess you could argue for the most.
Yeah, I mean, definitely it looks as if they're the most disappointing team in the NFL, but if we actually scale it back and see what we're looking at, last year, they started off 4-2. They finished the season 11-5, ended up beating Pittsburgh in the wild card, and then losing that devastating divisional round game to Kansas City.
Yep.
Now they're 3-3. They're third in the AFC North. It's actually not a far cry different from where they were last year. The only difference between this year and last year is that this year they're expected to be in the hunt, in the race as a contender.
Things feel different when you got expectations.
Oh, is Cleveland that good?
Right.
I don't know. Let's keep an eye on that. We're looking at Cleveland last year the way we're looking at the Cincinnati Bengals right now. I don't know. That's really good for you.
Yeah.
But it's for you.
Right.
Now you're a contender. What's up? No, this ain't acceptable.
Yep.
They're getting judged by a different rubric right now, so that's why it looks different for them.
Yeah.
But, all things taken into consideration, I don't think they're the most disappointing team in football. I could definitely give that to someone else, but I'm not even going to go there right now. I think they're still okay. They're at 3-3. They're third place in the division, but that's because the division is really good.
Yeah.
You've got a 4-2 Bengals team and a 5-1 Ravens team within the division. But they have to play these teams in the division, so They absolutely have plenty of opportunities to get right back in the mix because they're still sitting at 500. So I don't think all is lost for Cleveland.
Yeah. With all that talent, it just feels so disappointing because you expected them to come out harder. You expected them to kind of have, and we know football's not linear, but when you look at how the defense was really, carrying this team a little bit through the season, and now they're giving up 42 points a game last two matchups. It's tough, man. It's absolutely tough for them right now.
Yeah, but I mean, this might actually be a little glimmer of light for them coming into their next week because since Baker is now out, he's going to be out for at least 5 to 6 weeks.
Seriously?
I think he has a torn labrum, is something in his non-throwing shoulder, but he's going to be out.
So we're talking about Case Keenum carrying the Browns for the next month and a half.
We're talking about Case Keenum, and I know the name Case Keenum sounds like, oh, God, they're done. But pump your brakes just a little bit. If we rewind just a few years back, and we do remember in 2017, the Minnesota Vikings were 13-3, went to the NFC Championship game, hosted the NFC Championship. They lost to the Philadelphia Eagles, but they were one game away from being the first team to play in a home Super Bowl.
Yep.
And they lost that. You know who the quarterback was?
Case Keenum.
You know who the coach was?
Stefanski. Yes, it was.
Same guy.
Yeah.
You've got a reunited Keenum and Stefanski.
Yep.
They're out there, so I'm like, hey,
Stefanski was OC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was out there in Minnesota with Case Keenum while he was doing dirt. The best year he had of his entire career was with him. So I'm not saying that they're about to turn it around and Case Keenum is going to take Baker Mayfield's job, but don't mail it in on the Cleveland Browns just yet.
Yeah.
It could be all right.
I'm stressing if I'm a Browns fan. Sorry, we're talking about Case Keenum. I mean, Baker Mayfield's already enough of an anomaly, but now we're talking about Case. It's tough right now. I'm telling you.
I mean, at least there's a scenario that says that this could work out.
Right. We've got some stuff from a couple seasons back.
All is not lost.
Yeah.
I mean, they could possibly at least make the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's not all bad.
Yeah.
So, man, we're going to move to our next one. You looking like you just...
I'm just taking it all in. I'm letting you have your moment.
He's not convinced.
I'll let you have your moment. I'll let you say your piece.
And I'll convince you more later.
That's right.
They play tomorrow, so we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, and they're losing that game tomorrow.
I don't know about that. But we're going to talk about Lamar Action Jackson and the Castaways. We know who the Castaways are. They got 3 running backs that have all just been completely outcast from the NFL.
Yep.
They came out and just obliterated the Chargers, 34-6. Are the Ravens the clear favorite in the AFC now?
I mean, you talk about the Ravens, the Bills, and the field. That's what it feels like. Buffalo clearly has a better defense, but Baltimore's not that far behind. And I can confidently say right now that Lamar Jackson is playing more consistent football than Josh Allen is. He's got a signature win, under his belt right now. I know it was Chiefs week 2, but that was huge for them. We're talking about overtime. Correct. Overtime, if I'm not mistaken. No, not overtime. I was about to say it can't be a overtime 1-point win. But beating the Chiefs early on, and then just playing so hard this season, seeing Lamar taking the steps. We've talked about it in the show. I feel like week in and week out, it's what can Lamar Jackson do, or what has Lamar Jackson done this week that we said he couldn't do. The dude's hanging in the pocket. He's being confident. He's not running on first instinct. He's taking those steps as a quarterback. He's going to be the NFL's next $40 million quarterback. I can confidently say that. That's the type of paycheck he's going to get because he's holding out. He hasn't got his payday yet, and he's this young. The Ravens should be kind of lucky that he's this young because he's going to get one more great payday, and then it's going to be, okay, what are we looking at now with Baltimore? I'm super proud of this team, man, and I want to see them go far. Ravens, Bills, and then it's really, the rest of the AFC right now anyways.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely the number 1 team in the AFC right now, especially after what just happened to the Bills. We're going to talk about that game next, so we're not even going to get into that. But
right.
I mean, Lamar is answering all the questions that he previously had been tasked with. He's been throwing the ball, 400-yard passing games, crazy QB ratings. He's still running the football well. They're winning close games. They're coming from behind. Pretty much everything that you said Lamar couldn't do. He can't beat Pat Mahomes. And it wasn't a thing, but if you had actually been watching, he actually hadn't beat the Chargers either. The Chargers were the team that figured out how to stop him in the playoffs in his first run.
Yep.
And then the Chargers did it to him again the next year.
Yep.
So, I mean, for him to get over the hump against the Chargers and beat them that way and beat the Chiefs already, it's like there's nothing I can say to hate on them other than the fact that, like what I told you last week, I don't think that they can rely on him to do so much all the way throughout the rest of the season. But the way they beat the Chargers, it wasn't really a Lamar game. Like, the defense showed up. All the running backs showed up. I mean, Lamar actually wasn't the leading rusher on the team for the first time in God knows how long.
Yup.
Like, that was a collective team effort. So, I mean, I have nothing bad to say about them. So I know the Raven fans are like, see, I told you. I can walk it back. It's all good.
Yeah.
When they show up, then they show up. I'll acknowledge it.
Right. I mean, we know that the Ravens have a great defensive culture. They're top 7 right now in offensive, defensive points per game. It's a very balanced team right now. We're talking about Lamar getting more comfortable with his receivers. I had Hollywood Brown on your do not draft list in fantasy. I'm regretting dropping him weeks ago. Like, he is doing fantastic right now in really key moments for Baltimore. And this is just reverting back, it feels like, to a more confident 2019 team. And don't tell me that he can't throw. He's already got half of his passing yards from last year in the first third of this NFL season already. Lamar Jackson will finally be what it looks like to be a 4,000-yard thrower for the first time in his career.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely could happen this year. So, man, we're going to move on to the last game on the docket for the weekend, for the top games for Week 6. The Tennessee Titans. They pulled off a crazy home W over the Buffalo Bills. Insane game. I enjoy watching it. King Henry, 3 touchdowns. Did this game show you more about Buffalo or Tennessee?
It was really hard to hone in on that. I feel like I had to lean both for this one because when you look at Tennessee, they finally have a signature win on their schedule this season, because the offense is 8th in the NFL and they're putting up points and they're out here beating teams, but they hadn't really faced a true body of work yet. And yeah, it was the Cardinals in Week 1, but we don't count Week 1. It doesn't really mean anything for a team at that point anyways. And when you talk about, Derrick Henry, he's not done. He's absolutely not done. 750 plus yards, 10 touchdowns through 6 games of the season. I didn't believe that when I heard it. Like, Derrick Henry is absolutely erupting right now. Ryan Tannehill is comfortable again. You look at Julio being back, A.J. Brown. The Titans and the confidence that Ryan Tannehill is playing with right now behind that offensive line. And let's not forget, Taylor Lewan went out in this game. Like, that was a scary injury within itself. Seeing him get stretched off, we know he was okay, towards the end. But that was scary to see for those Titan fans. And you talk about, game in and game out. They're just hanging there till the end. You can't get rid of these Titans, and they're a very good-looking football team after this win against the Bills. I have to say so.
Yeah, I mean, as far as
4-2, they're a sneaky 4-2.
As far as what I learned about both teams, they're both 4-2. They're 2 of the shadiest good teams in the entire NFL. Both of them could be any team on any given Sunday, and both of them will choose a Sunday every so often to just not show up.
Right.
It's really ridiculous. I mean, I told you it was an outside chance that Tennessee would show up for this game and upset them. I didn't see it enough to actually call it or pick it.
Should have, man.
But both of these teams are like this. Now, Buffalo was overdue to blow a game because that's what they do. Tennessee, I don't understand how they're 4-2 because they've been playing bad football. Derrick Henry has been balling, but the rest of the team has not.
Right.
Their defense is terrible. So, I mean, what did I learn? Nothing. Both teams.
Said I learned nothing. This topic is pointless.
Both teams are mediocre. They have really good records, and they're both mediocre.
Put the Bills up against a good team, they get pushed around. I mean, that's what happens, man. It showed you.
But you heard the alarm. It's that time.
100%.
It's 8:24.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, count us down.
3, 2, 1. In tribute of the NBA season being back,
Kobe.
With my left hand so inappropriately.
No,
R.I.P. to the
lefty
Mamba.
too.
There we go. Whatever he feels like.
He's one of the only ones who could do it all. Shoots 3-pointers left-handed, drives left, shoots right.
I headbutt it in.
Speaks 15 languages. Maybe that's 3 times more than he does, but he still spoke a lot. Yeah, it was more like 5, but still, 15 sounded real. Speaking of real, J Real, take us away. Give me some sponsors. Let us know who pays the bills around here.
What's happening?
Yeah, man. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, brother.
We can hear you. Let's go.
Okay. All right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing? I had a little technical difficulty right there. You know what I'm saying? Glad to be back with you guys tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Of course, this is the Petty Sports Wednesday night edition. We're back on Wednesdays now for the foreseeable future. No more Tuesdays right now, so you can set your calendars again for every Wednesday, 8 o'clock, to listen up to Famous Facts Fees and Adam Lewis go in on the hottest topics and the latest and greatest in sports world out there. So appreciate everybody that's tuning in tonight. See you in the chat room. Miss Sharper. I see you, YPK, out there, and everybody else. Please take this moment right now to do us a big fat favor and share the link. Share the show with your friends. Call your friends, neighbors, co-workers. Text them. Let them know it's that time once again.
Yes, sir.
If they into sports, it's on right now. These guys are at the table doing what they do every week. So we greatly love if you share the show with your people, all right? Tonight, you can call in at 678-871-9602, 678-871-9602. That's how you can be a part of the show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Go to the different platforms. You know, we're all over Google, Apple, Spotify, iHeart. Just type Petty Sports in. That's with a Z, Petty Sports with a Z. And you'll see it pop up all over the place, man. So we appreciate the support. Go over there, hit the links, listen to the show while you're in your ride, in your car, wherever you at. Go to Boxcast on your smart TV, Boxcast. Type in Kingz Broadcasting, and you can watch us right there at the crib on your big screen in your man cave and she shed right there. You know what I'm saying? So like, follow, share, subscribe. Go to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, all that right there, man. And look us up, you know. Thank you for your support. We greatly appreciate it. And support black business. Support black business. Support black business shit. Because we do. ATL. Hold back to the regular schedule program.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are back. And as promised.
Hold on, famous facts feeds. I forgot one more thing, man.
What you got? What you got?
Shout out to the Braves. They just started tonight. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to be a big kind of maybe a pivotal game for the Braves tonight if we can still win in L.A. And Boston, they taking a bad L right now. To, Houston, you know, Houston took a bad L the other night. Boston hit 2 grand slams to close them out, and tonight Houston bouncing back. Look like they're going to pull this one off.
Astros homered, I think, in the first inning.
Yeah,
first batter of the game.
So hey, shouts out to the baseball world.
Dodgers flipped the series on the head last night, man. I swear.
And shout out to my Hawks tomorrow. They play Dallas here in Atlanta for the season opener.
Y'all cut me off to talk about baseball.
I ended up with basketball, so you know, I'm trying to kind of like
True.
bring it full circle.
I've got your back, Bell.
Yeah, so,
I've got you, bro.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen, from
I
me.
told you, Atlanta Sports Fan Nation, temper the excitement.
Hey man, you know we on and we popping right now. You know what I'm saying?
Could
And look
we-
like the
could-
Braves
could-
just
could
hit
we-
a home run. Eddie Rosario just hit a home run.
Let's go, baby.
Could we get to the NBA?
Back to the regular schedule program.
Goodness. They excited about one run.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
Do we have NBA music? Cue me up. Let's go. We back to the NBA. Just like I promised y'all, we going to jump into the NBA opening night. Last night, we had the Nets and the Bucks. New Jersey. I almost called them New Jersey. Brooklyn Nets.
Words.
No Kyrie. No blowout. Yeah. No Kyrie. There were no Nets. They got thoroughly embarrassed by the Milwaukee Bucks. It was a bad game, wall to wall. They led the entire game. Pretty much kept at least a 10-point lead the entire ball game.
Yep.
It was kind of hard to watch. So, I mean, my question to you is, is it too early to talk about a repeat for the Milwaukee Bucks?
It is a little premature, yeah, because, you know, we always try to stay abreast at the moment, not become a prisoner of the moment, rather. But they did play great last night. You know, we're not going to shy away from that. Giannis absolutely went out, balled out. It wasn't a 50-piece, you know, like he was talking about, but 32 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So, you know, major game for Giannis, not having a hangover and coming out there and just being out there for the city of Milwaukee, you know, not crumbling on ring night like we see some teams do. They just might not come out and play as hard, or they feel like they can lay back because they're the reigning champs now. No, the Bucks have been and continue to be, and showed you again on opening night, that they're going to be the hardest playing team in the NBA. They're going for the #1 seed, no doubt, in the East right now. When you talk about them not even having Drew Holiday in that game and still making a run the way they did, Middleton is obviously that piece for Giannis right now, and he really came alive in that Hawks series. And really before that, you know, if you truly want to talk about how everything unfolded for these Bucks really within the last, I don't know, 8 to 9 games they've played, you know, going back to last season, Excuse me, but the Bucks look good, of course. The Nets, unfortunately, you can't tell me that if Kyrie played this game that they would have won, because I'm not going to buy in on that whatsoever. The Nets are a small team. We've talked about that. They're not going to be able to play big with you. They're not going to be able to line up with you. Yeah, they've got some speed, but if you bully them like the Bucks do greatly, Brook Lopez with the rim protection, we're talking about Giannis, the best rim player in the NBA. Okay, maybe you can argue me Embiid, but we're pulling teeth at that point. There's no question that the Bucks can repeat, but I'm not going to call it too early. We still got 81 games to play, so let's go.
Yeah, man, they absolutely do have a lot more games to play, but I mean, the Bucks play with championship energy.
Yeah,
it looked like they really picked right up where they left off last season in the finals after Giannis made that the transformation. They were always playing this hard,
right?
Nothing has changed about their energy. The biggest difference in what they were doing is the way Giannis was approaching the game. He stopped trying to just bully everybody and started distributing the ball and stretching the defense.
And trying to shoot threes now.
He'll actually pass the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, he completely changed the game. He changed it in the middle of the finals last year, and now you're seeing that transferred all the way into next season. If we see this version of the Milwaukee Bucks all season, the Bucks are going to win a lot of games. They'll easily be the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, and they are going to be the team to beat on that side. But if we look at just how that whole game played out, the difference in the game, they won by 23 points. You're not going to tell me that Kyrie couldn't have given you those 23 points.
Exactly.
If Kyrie had played in that game, it would have been a very different game. The Bucks did, the Nets came back multiple times. They cut the lead, and every time they cut the lead, the Bucks came back and did their thing. And just like what you had alluded to earlier, Jrue Holiday did play 18 minutes in that game. He did a little bit of dirt. He didn't play very much, but he did play in that game.
Right.
I mean, Giannis and KD's stats are almost identical, and that's actually kind of a farce because KD put up most of those stats at the end of the game when they were trying to come back. From what I was looking at out there, James Harden needs to shoot the ball more. Mm-hmm. He's actually deferring as if he's still playing that role like him, Kyrie, and KD are out there. Yep. He has to pick up the slack for Kyrie not being there. And he was actually having a really good shooting night. He just wasn't shooting. He kind of tried to pick it up, but I mean, when he came out and went back in, like that factor, would you sit on the bench and come back in, you're just a little bit cold.
Yep.
But James Harden was holding that down for like the whole first half. That was Harden. Most all of KD's points came in the second half. I think he had 21 of his 32 in the second half.
Yeesh.
It was James Harden holding it down. Yep. And he only had 20 points, but he had 20 points, 8 boards, and 8 assists.
Yeah.
James Harden was guarding Giannis for a good part of the game, and he was like lightweight successful against him for the times that he guarded him. So there's a lot of takeaways for the Nets here, but ultimately they need Kyrie. Like if this was nothing else, it is a cry for Kyrie to come back to the Nets. They need him.
Yeah.
But if there's no Kyrie, I don't really see any team in the East that can beat the Bucks.
Right.
This kind of energy, especially with the limited minutes of Jrue Holiday, you get Giannis playing like that. If Middleton has finally got the monkey off his back to where he can't have a big game at the same time as Giannis, because that's been an issue moving all the way up into the finals.
Yep.
But it's like everything that they addressed in the finals, they're looking like the same team.
Yeah.
And they're playing like they haven't won one. Like they're trying to prove something still.
Right. And what's funny is seeing their energy. So, they take the survey of NBA GMs every year, who's going to win the title. The Nets, far and behold, like 70+% to win. Lakers floating around 15. The reigning champs, 10%. NBA GMs, only 10% of NBA GMs think the Bucks are going to repeat this year. That's just more motivation for them. Like, this has already been a team that, and again, they haven't played different, but you want to talk about their players being doubted. Giannis was talked about as, can he take that leap for so long? And he has. The dude is now trying to stand at the 3-point line. Okay, he wants to improve his game week in, season in and night out. And you can't take that away from the whole culture of the Bucks, because that's what he's done for them.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, the way the Bucks are playing, this is really difficult to call anyone over them. But Andre Yelverton II, that's what his name is in there. You got Brooklyn in 6 this year, or the Hawks. I'm gonna need for you to call the petty line. Like, there's, I don't even know how much they're
678-719-602. We're waiting.
Please put the number on the screen for us, G. Andre, I need you to call the show.
Yeah, man.
You say Brooklyn in 6 after what you just watched. I mean, all of the odds, those came when everyone was assuming that there would be a Kyrie. So it made sense.
Andre, that's a farce about Magic taking the Dodgers back, bro. The Dodgers have
Kyrie,
every piece of talent.
Like the Brooklyn Nets can't be favored to that level.
Yeah.
If it's just KD and Harden.
Right. They had to have taken that survey like months ago. They had to.
Yeah. I mean, that didn't happen a few days ago.
Right.
But then you said, or the Hawks. What the hell are you talking about?
Now, the Hawks will make a run. Don't count that out, V's. We saw what they did last year.
I definitely see them making it at least to the second round, if not to the Eastern Conference Finals, but they're not going to the finals. That means I'm taking them over the Bucks.
Right. I can agree with you to that extent, but don't get me careful about Atlanta now. Come on now.
I tell you the same thing about all the Atlanta teams. I tell you to temper the excitement.
Wait till we get like 85% there. Got some numbers. No. I'm not happy until I see double zeros in a big game.
Not 85% there.
Got to see double zeros in a big game.
The amount of hardest that y'all have been through.
The last moment, it's got to close. It's like closing on a house. It's just got to close. You just got to get the keys to the mansion. It's just got to happen, bro.
I mean, eventually we're going to get Mr. Yelverton on the petty line.
Yeah, he's scared.
But before that happens, we're just going to move on to the second game of the evening.
The best game of the night.
Which was a super showcase. The Lakers, the Warriors, opening the season, Steph Curry, LeBron James. Despite all these big shooting nights, LeBron and AD, they balled out.
Yeah.
The Warriors just took all the air out of the opening night sales for the Lakers. They stayed in. They battled all night. Steph had a very bad shooting night, and they still couldn't beat Golden State.
Did you hear about his bad triple-double? Ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, he had great numbers as far as the triple-double, but...
Like, what, 5 for 18 shooting, 2 for 8 from downtown?
He was 5 for 21 and 2 for 8 from the field. I mean, from 3.
Yeah.
Oh, he said give him the number again. It's 678-871-9602.
Period.
Make sure you call us.
Right there, brother. We'll be waiting.
So, man, are the Warriors back, or are the Lakers just not what we think they are?
I think it has to lean more on the Lakers because, you know, a lot of people talked about this when we first got into the season and they started, you know, felt like it was more pulling names than it was trying to actually poach young talent that still had, you know, some juice left in the tank and really wanted to contribute to a team and was trying to earn their stripes. You know, they're an old team. They're not going to play you very fast. And you're talking about a lot of liability and relying on a LeBron James, on an Anthony Davis. And I know about the Carmelos and I know about the Rondos. And there's a few people that I'm leaving off there. But we know the Lakers can be a good basketball team. But when you're talking about what the NBA is turning into, the type of spacing, the type of play that's actually taking place on the court now, I don't think the Lakers are going to be able to keep up with that sustainably. And you talk about Steph didn't play great. Klay Thompson was not there. Jordan Poole was stepping up. Like, there were dudes for Golden State that, stepping into the game, taking big roles, coming back from 10 points down. And the fact that the Lakers at home had a lead in the game and couldn't take it. They couldn't take it. And I think it shows right now that, the Lakers are really facing their problem immediately. Like, as the NBA season opens, they know they're old. We're not going to be able to move quick. I hope we can shoot the 3 ball because you're going to need to in a Western Conference, especially when you're trying to run for the chip. They saw that. So at the end of the day, I think the Lakers are facing their problem immediately, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out over the rest of the year. I can't speak too much on the Warriors because they shouldn't have won. Like, nothing added up for them to win, and they came away with it. So just imagine, like I said, what about when Christmas does roll around? I'm excited, man. We're going to have a Christmas present of Klay Thompson. Let's go.
Yeah, I think it doesn't actually say either. I can't all the way say the Warriors are back because the Warriors didn't play a good game, and I can't say the Lakers aren't what we thought they were because anyone with any common sense looked at what the Lakers roster was. They pulled together a whole new roster in the offseason.
Yep.
This team needs time to build chemistry. It looks like a team where you brought in Rondo, Westbrook, Dwight Howard, DeAndre Jordan. Like, you brought in like at least 6 or 7 different pieces this year.
Forgot about DJ.
These guys have not played together. Like, the coach doesn't know what line, no idea how he's supposed to mesh with LeBron and AD doing their thing. This is going to take time. This is a project. If you look at this matchup moving into Christmas, they'll have had 2 months to actually play together, figure out how this thing should rotate, how they should do it. I mean, it's looking at this point like they should really bring Westbrook off the bench and let him run the second squad so he can go 100 miles an hour and not worry about deferring while he's in there. Carmelo is shooting every now and then, like, all right, ISO, because y'all want me to score because we need a few points on offense. Yeah. But for the most part, everybody's like, oh, Bron, AD, let's pass it to him.
Right.
They're not confident in the fact that their role on the team says that they should actually just be going forward and taking shots at the clip that they normally take them, or even with the level of confidence that they normally take them. So my takeaway from the game is the Lakers have a ways to go to actually figure out the continuity, the lineups, the adjustments, just how this team actually is going to fit and work together. And it was a good win for the Warriors, especially for them having their best player not having played well. I think both teams are good, but I'm not overreacting to either one of them. Not going to tell you the Warriors are back, and I'm not telling you the Lakers are done. And you can't call BS. You didn't call. That was the whole point. We gave you the number about 15 times, Andre.
Come on, sir.
Your verbiage is...
Come on, Mr. Yelverton.
Insanely ridiculous.
We'd like to have you in here, sir. It's not a party if we don't have a guest. You know what I'm saying?
It's not at all.
Let's get the house full.
But since he's not going to call, we got a few more minutes. We're just going to move this segment right on up in here before we go into our next sponsorship break. The Petty Sports Dumbass of the Week.
This is going to be a fun one.
Yes. Brand new segment brought to you by Gary King. Appreciate that. Every week now, we're going to present to you one person per each of us that gets the crown of the Petty Sports Dumbass of the Week. So, Adam, who are you giving that crown for this week?
My very first ever inaugural Petty Sports Dumbass of the Week is going to be Sean McDermott for that call with the Bills and the Titans. I understand Josh Allen, one of the biggest quarterbacks in the NFL, very strong, very smart guy, but how often do you see by surprise and a deciding game for later on down the road, seeing how the AFC is going to be. So I got to say, Petty Sports Dumbass of the Week is Sean McDermott. No question. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, see, yours came off of one play. Mine is on a slightly different level. My Petty Sports Dumbass of the Week is the San Jose Sharks' Evander Kane. He got caught with a fake vaccine card playing professional sports. Got a 21-game suspension.
This is wild.
You somehow thought that you were a professional athlete and you were going to get away with having a fake vax card. Like, there's so many levels to the ignorance of that. Then you got a 21-game suspension, which, I had to look it up. That is like the 7th or 8th biggest suspension in NHL history. Your fake vax card has been leveled along the same of hitting another player in the face with a stick and assaulting a referee.
Borderline killing somebody in the NHL. NHL, right? No?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, can't be that stupid.
I think we might have to have the caller take our sponsor break. Eeyaw. Sorry, everybody. I know that's probably the cringiest thing we could do on the show, but hey, we got to go with the time. Is Mr. Yelverton the second on the phone?
Please tell me that's Andre who we got.
We got you here, sir?
I'm on. Yep.
Andre.
Yes, sir. We got Andre on the line. Tell us what's on your mind. He been talking in the chat nonstop. Hey, what's popping, man? How you feeling tonight?
Andre, we got some great power rankings. We need 5 minutes, brother. Say your piece. Can you hear us?
Right now.
You got stage fright.
Can't be that stupid. I think we might have to have the caller take our sponsor break.
They have a start on in the background.
Turn us down, Andre.
This is the first time calling into a show. I can tell. Nets comment. Show playing in the background. That's a rookie move, bro. Just like calling a championship for a team with no point guard.
We got you. I'm on.
Yeah, we got to turn you down, man. We're going to have to cut you off. All right, Andre, we'll let you call back in after we hit the power rankings.
Another donkey here.
Wesley Davis is no longer the worst telephone person that calls into the show.
No, he didn't. Before the power rankings, G, come on. This is like the most serious segment on the show, man. Come on, bro. This is the one we spent like way too much time on.
I apologize to Petty Nation for the 45 seconds of that massacre that you just had to experience. Mike Beasley's going to take us away one more time. Let us know who pays the bills around here. Then we're going to come back. We're going to give you the power rankings through 6 weeks for the NFL season. Mike Beasley, tell them what it do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you so much for tuning in tonight to the Petty Sports Wednesday night edition, brought to you every week, 8 o'clock. You know what I'm talking about? Tuning in to Famous Facts, Fees, Adam Lewis on deck doing what they do. You know what I'm saying? Going hard on these sports topics, man. You know what I'm saying? They talking basketball, talking a little football. They passing out donkey awards now, man. You know what I'm saying? Dumbass awards of the week type shit, you know? So, hey, where else can you get this type of flavor? You know what I'm saying? 100, where they get at you in the comments. You can call in live to the show, say your piece. And, you know what I'm saying, express what you got to say, too. You know what I'm saying? But do understand the only opinion that matters is the one right here on the Petty Sports panel, all right? You can call in at 678-871-9602. 678-871-9602. You know what I'm saying? Go to the different platforms. Check us out. Apple, iHeart, Spotify. You know what I'm saying? Google, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch. So go all those places, like, follow, share, type in Petty Sports. Petty Sports with a Z. You know what I'm talking about? We greatly appreciate it. We see everybody in the chat room out there. I see you, Jamila. You snuck in here while I wasn't looking. Mr. Andre, you know, sound like he talking on a cup with the little string attached to it. You know what I'm saying? So hey, we need you to figure that out, big guy, and get back with us, man. Gotta have your devices turned down when you call the show. You cannot listen to yourself while you're calling in and wanting to talk.
That's how I know it's his first time calling a show. Hey, Andre, give us a call right after we hit the power rankings. This is like the most important fart. Haha, look at me trolling people out here, speaking horribly on the mic. This is the most important part of the show. Fees, kick us off, brother. Let's go.
Yes, sir. It is time for the power rankings. Petty Sports going to let you know who are the top 10 best teams through 6 weeks of the NFL season. And there's no biases. We don't care what they were last year, what they were at the beginning of the season. We are through 6 weeks, moving into week 7, top 10 teams. Adam is about to break it down. He's going to give you his top 10, starting from 10 to 1. Who gets the crown?
Absolutely. So let's rip the Band-Aid off first. No Chiefs. Go ahead and be mad about it. Chiefs are not in my top 10. Let's start with number 10, though. Give me the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they're the toughest team in the NFL right now. Look at Joe Burrow taking the step for his team at the moment. Jamar Chase, can't tell me anything different. He is already a top 10 receiver. This man is top 5 in both yards and touchdowns, technically 4th in that position right now. No jokes about catching the football for him. And then these guys are 11th in offensive points per game, 5th in defensive points per game. So you know they're one of the NFL's most balanced teams right now. And they're playing with a lot of heart, and they shouldn't be here. So they definitely deserve a ranking. Let's go to number 9. Give me the Tennessee Titans. Wesley, where are you at? You pull off a big win. You messaged me on Facebook because I know you're going to go back and watch the show later. And you said, Titans, bro. Where are you at on the show tonight? Anyways, putting your Titans right here. King Henry just continues to carry this team. 3rd running back ever with over 750 yards and 10 touchdowns in a season through their first 6 games. Ryan Tannehill is crazy comfortable. A.J. Brown is doing his thing. Julio Jones is trying to find a spot. And if they can play the Bills, play the rest of the league like they did the Bills, they're going to be a good team for weeks to come. Had to pop them in there. Now, I hate hate to drop the Chargers to number 8. Biggest disappointment and really exposure of the weekend. Talking about the week 6 of the NFL, nothing went right for them. When you look at how the Chargers, and in every aspect of that game, just absolutely outplayed, outgained, outsmarted, outcoached. Nothing went right. Herbert played the worst game he's played since he's seen Belichick last year, oddly enough. So Chargers are going to fall to number 8. And when you look at the Bills being one of the most balanced teams in the NFL and loaded teams, this was not the Bills, the Chargers, this was their ugly loss, to the Ravens. Let's go to number 7 here. Give me the Green Bay Packers. And they're a really quiet 5-1 team in the NFL right now. And Rodgers has slowed down some. And that's not a slight to him. That's not to say anything bad, but they're just not that explosive team right now in the NFL. But they haven't lost since the week 1 disaster against the New Orleans Saints. They've been scoring at a clip. They've been playing close games. And like I said, they haven't lost. So you have to respect the 5-1 record in their division. And I do think the Packers deserve more respect. They're not going to get it from me because I think they're the same old song and dance. And we'll definitely be bringing these guys up later in the show. Number 6, game of the defending champions, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You talk about them still scoring and winning at the clip that they are right now. I know it's a little low, but they're extremely beat up. They're missing Gronk. They're missing so much of their secondary. They're now missing Richard Sherman, who was like a lifeline for them in the middle of the season with their awful secondary. But at the end of the day, they're still balling points-wise with no Gronk. Brady was dealing with a little bit of an injury, and they're still going to be a great team. Check back with me in probably about 2 or 3 weeks, and they'll be much higher on this list. They're just going through some injuries right now. At number 5, I wanted to drop them lower, but, you can look at the fact that the Bills only won on maybe not one play of that game, but they were close to taking the Titans, or rather taking out the Titans in that game. So, is it a Bills collapse or is it a King Henry being unstoppable moment? Who knows? The Bills came out on the bottom in this game, though. They have Josh Allen, who, oddly enough, his numbers look better when you talk about the ratios, but he's not looking that well on the field per se. And their defense is still the best in the NFL. No matter what King Henry did, go look at the numbers. They're still holding there. Now we get to the top 4, and this is when we start talking about potential Super Bowl teams or whatever you want to see it as. Rams at number 4. Yeah, they're beating up on bad teams, scoring at big clips. But when you talk about Matthew Stafford actually having expectations with everything that's around him, is he going to perform in a high-stakes game? Is he going to perform in a playoff game? Because he already didn't perform against the Cardinals. I don't care what the numbers were. He lost. They were exposed. They lost bad. Still got the Rams at number 4, though. Number 3, give me the Baltimore Ravens. And I want to put them so much higher, but I know they have a few blemishes on their record with the Lions and, with a couple of other teams out there that they should have beat, far and behold. But either way, they gave them a run for their money. Love what Lamar's doing. Love what this defense is doing. And that win against the Chargers just showed you, hey, they're definitely here to stay in the NFL and especially in the AFC. Number 2, never thought I would put the Dallas Cowboys, we dem boys, this high on my list. But I can't lie. They feel like the most consistent team in the NFL right now. When you talk about how Dak is playing, when you talk about the defense, they're not playing great, but they're a middle of the pack defense. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper's kind of taking a back seat, but still getting his touches. Dalton Schultz feels like he's saving the world right now for the tight end position. And the draft picks, Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, we'll talk about him a bunch later. Defensive player of the year right now. Absolutely insane. So, you haven't heard me call his name. He's right there on the screen. Kyler Murray and his Arizona Cardinals are number 1 in my power rankings. They're the only undefeated team left in the league right now. Told you guys about the defense before. They are absolutely locking people down when they need to. Kyler's in the MVP conversation. Love the offense. Look at the veteran leadership that we kind of crapped on him for at the beginning of the year. Give me the Cardinals at number 1, and it's going to be a hell of an NFL season as we roll on from here.
Okay, a lot of that I can't argue with. Somebody bring Adam a towel. He's sweating. I don't even know what he got going on over there. He must be sweating.
You can see me glistening, bro.
Some of these picks that just weren't right. That's why he's sweating. He didn't even know how he called that.
They got close up on me, man. That's so dirty. Nobody is safe here at Petty Sports. Look, I'll go ahead and let y'all see it. I am sweating. I'm sorry. Working hard up here. It's a lot with these takes. Ain't nothing easy.
So, man, I'm going to give it to you from the bottom to the top. At number 10, I got the Tennessee Titans. Man, I got them one tick below where you have them. 4-2. They got wins over Buffalo, Indy, Seattle, Jacksonville. They lost to Arizona, but they lost to the Jets. I cannot.
Let me roll out of here.
It was extremely difficult for me to put you in the top 10 with an L to the Jets. The defense is god-awful terrible, and your offense is named Derrick Henry. So, we're not really sure if you're going to show up week to week. They do have a star-studded roster on offense to where it doesn't actually make sense the way that they just don't show up week to week. They are 4-2. Got to be the most fraudulent 4-2 in the entire NFL. But I got them at number 10. The Cincinnati Bengals, they get my 9 spot. They're also sitting at 4-2. They don't have any significant wins. They've not beaten any teams that I really give a lot of credit. I mean, they beat Minnesota, they beat Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, and Detroit. None of those teams are that good. They lost 2 3-point games to Green Bay and Chicago. So, I mean, they are starting to turn a little corner. I mean, because it is Cincinnati. No one expected Cincinnati to actually be good. Joe Burrow is having a very good year. Jamar Chase is turning out to be an excellent rookie wide receiver. Joe Mixon is balling out. So, I mean, the Bengals are actually something to be worried about. They're a decent football team, definitely a playoff team. Not a contender, but they're making my top 10. At number 8, I've got the LA Chargers. They're 4-2. I had them way higher in our last power rankings before we just watched the Baltimore Ravens completely teabag them. It was just ugly. They've got good wins. They beat Kansas City. They beat the Raiders. They beat Cleveland. They beat Washington. Before the season started, that's a gauntlet. Those would have been, we would have been like, hey, they got the 4 best wins of any team in the entire NFL. But as it's panned out, those teams actually aren't that good. They lost to Dallas and they lost to Baltimore. They're 12th in total offense. They had a seemingly tough schedule. I can give them the fact that they have actually started winning close games. That is a plus for them. So I definitely had to keep them in the top 10. But the way they got beat by Baltimore, that dropped them many spaces. At number 7, the Green Bay Packers. They're 5-1. They don't really have any big wins. They beat Cincinnati, who I also have ranked below them. They beat Chicago. They got destroyed by the Saints, who also don't deserve to be in this top 10. They have a weak schedule.
Watch your mouth, sir.
They have a very weak schedule. It's really just Aaron Rodgers and Devonta Adams and whatever they can do. And I don't know why no one has decided to double or even triple team Devonta. It's ridiculous. But they're 5-1, so I'm giving them the 7th spot. At number 6, I got the Buffalo Bills. They're sitting at 4-2. Previously had them way higher, and they got a win over Kansas City. They lost to Pittsburgh. They lost a crazy game to Tennessee for Monday night. I mean, they haven't really they haven't beaten any teams that I actually have ranked above them. Josh Allen has started to try to turn his season around, but the Bills are inconsistent, almost at the same clip as the Tennessee Titans. So, I mean, we'll see how that pans out. At number 5, I've got the LA Rams. They're sitting at 5-1. They beat Tampa. That's their signature win. They came out and they really played like they felt like that was their Super Bowl for this season. But they beat Indy. They got destroyed by Arizona. And what's alarming is the rate that you're seeing Matthew Stafford decline. He's overthrowing passes at an extremely alarming clip. So I'm going to keep the Rams at 5. They're still 5-1. Can't knock them back too far. At number 4, Baltimore Ravens. They're 5-1. They got big wins over the Chargers and the Chiefs and Denver, who was 3-0 when they beat them. Lamar has actually proven everyone wrong, proven he can do everything that we said he couldn't do. He can throw. He can come from behind. We knew he could run. So, I mean, the Ravens, they're on their way. They're looking like the best team in the AFC because that's the highest team I've got rated in the AFC. Now, at number 3, I've got the Dallas Cowboys sitting at 5-1. They beat the Chargers. They beat Carolina, who was undefeated when they played them. First in total offense, first in points, most balanced attack in the entire NFL. Their running backs, Zeke and Pollard, they're a 1-2 punch that's extremely difficult to stop. Dak is playing at an MVP level. The Dallas Cowboys have arrived. The only reason I don't have them higher is because the one loss that they have in their schedule is the teams that I have above them, being the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're 5-1. They beat Dallas, and they lost to the Rams. The remaining schedule for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is so vanilla and weak. I don't see any way that they slow down. They're 3rd in total offense. They're 3rd in total points. Their defense hasn't really been tasked with doing much, but Brady it's like a playground for him. He's picking teams apart. It's damn near not fair.
It's a scrimmage for him.
The Arizona Cardinals, just as on your list, I've got them in the top spot. They're 6-0. They've got wins over the Tennessee Titans, the LA Rams, Cleveland, Minnesota. All of these teams are 500 or better. They're 7th in total offense, 4th in points, 10th in total defense, 2nd in points allowed. So they're the most balanced team. Said Dallas has the most balanced offense. The Cardinals have the most balanced team, offense and defense, both sides working together in harmony. Second highest turnover differential in the league at +8. The Arizona Cardinals are really looking like they're making a push to win their first NFL Super Bowl. So that'll conclude the power rankings for Petty Sports through 6 weeks. We've now reached the top of the hour. It's time for Mike Beasley to take this bad boy away one more time. When we come back, Adam gonna hit you with some of that flavor. We got a couple of dope segments right on the mix for you. Mike Beasley, let us know who paid for this thing.
Yes, sir. Famous Facts Feeds, Greece. We appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. All this is brought to you by Kingz Broadcasting Studios. You're tuned in to Petty Sports Wednesday Night Edition, featuring Famous Facts Feeds and Adam Lewis on deck, like always. Thank you for sharing the show. We see the chat room is pretty active over there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of chatter going on like normal. Do feel free to call in at 678-871-9602, 678-871-9602. That's how you can be a part of the show tonight. Go to kingsbroadcasting.com, spend some money. You know what I'm saying? If you like what we're doing over here, you want to keep supporting and helping us bring forth this great content every week, go over there and drop some bread. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't no other way to put it. No donation is too great or too small. Go to kingsbroadcasting.com, go to the bottom of the page, hit that donate button. Feel very generous when you do that, okay? We appreciate it. You know what I'm talking about? So keep supporting black business. Keep supporting black business. Keep supporting black businesses, Coach. We do. Like, follow, share, subscribe, listen. Go to iHeart, Google, Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, all that, man. You know, we all look, Book of Face, whatever you want to call it. We everywhere. You know what I'm talking about?
The gram of Insta?
Yeah, man. Everything, man. Just type in Petty Sports with
Talk
a Z.
of tick.
And, hey, we there. And big shouts out to my guys, the Braves, doing it right now. 3-0.
Yes, sir.
Top of the third. Every run scored has been a home run. So Freddie Freeman just hit the last homer. So big shouts out to those guys right now. And, hey, keep chopping.
Braves pitching looking okay? I know we had a little bullpen start there. No runs, so.
No run. They're looking great.
There we go.
Looking real proper.
Perfect. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you already know what time it is. Top of the hour for Petty Sports. You know, every Wednesday night, starting off at 8 p.m. But we're in hour 2. And I think we're going to start off with a caller here. Andre Yelverton II. No disrespect to the man, just calling him by his Facebook name. He popped in the chat, had a little something to say about the Nets. Andre, are you with us tonight?
I'm with you.
Hey, what's going on?
I can barely hear you, but I'm with you.
Okay, where are you calling from?
Calling from the beautiful Panama City, Florida.
Oh, that's amazing. All right, man, tell us what's on your mind tonight on Petty Sports. We'd love to hear it.
First and foremost, Petty Sports is my number one go-to for my sports information. Just want to thank you guys for everything that you do. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here on the Petty Hotline tonight. I love your commentary, but I disagree, man, on a lot of things that you guys are saying tonight. Matthew Stafford, number one. He's one of the best quarterbacks, hands down, in the NFL. Hands down. I mean, his accuracy, the spiral he puts on that ball, it's A1. It's A1.
Where are you ranking Andrew
second.
Where are you ranking Matt Stafford?
Second.
Where are you ranking him in quarterback tier? You say he's one of the best in the league. What does it mean? Top 5, top 10, top 3? Where is he at?
Man, that's a tough question. But considering his experience here in the NFL, I would put him at number 3.
Jesus Christ, that is ridiculous. Top 3?
He's not better than Kyler, Josh, and Tom, and that's just a rough top 3.
No doubt. I mean, his performance at Georgia, it trickled down into the NFL. You know, even though he played for some shitty teams, excuse my language, but he played for some bad teams.
Is he related to your sister?
On his team that can catch the ball, such as Julio Jones, man, he thrives. He'd be NFL Hall of Famer, no doubt.
Man, get out of here. That dude is nowhere near top 3.
Top 3, I can
Are you kidding
disagree.
me? Well, who's your number 3 quarterback in the NFL right now?
He threw to Calvin Johnson, and he had people over the course of his career. We're not going to act like Matthew Stafford played with nobody
Exactly.
for his entire
Let's
career.
not forget Galladay and Hawkinson.
If we're looking at who are the top quarterbacks in the league, we could just name out the people that are in the next segment. Tom Brady, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray,
Right.
Dak Prescott,
Yeah.
Josh Allen,
These are all
Justin
big
Herbert.
names. They're big names.
They're all
So
better than him.
delivers
You're
on a
talking
consistent basis?
like Stafford is a big
They're
name if
all
he's top
better
3.
than him.
In your opinion, in your highly respected opinion, they are.
I can
But
statistically
if you
back
look at
that
footage
opinion.
of Matthew Stafford, his accuracy, the way he throws the ball, you have no quarterbacks. Most of your quarterbacks in the NFL today, they're running quarterbacks. They run first pass, second. A traditional
His
quarterback
accuracy,
drops back and throws that ball just like Matthew Stafford.
Have
He's a
you
Brett
missed
Favre in my
Matthew
book.
Stafford and his overthrow party for the last 3 weeks?
That is true.
Yeah, I mean, come on. He's
What do
Matthew
you mean?
Stafford.
I mean, come on. Did you realize I named all these quarterbacks and I didn't even say Aaron Rodgers? He's not better than him.
Did he even say
Hey,
Patrick Mahomes?
I didn't say it was
Jesus.
Joe Namath.
I mean, why would you name someone from eons ago? Joe Namath threw the ball 16 times in 16 games. Like, that's not comparable.
Right.
I get it. I'm just throwing out names, man. But, my point is Matthew Stafford, in my book, after watching footage, he's the best hands down at quarterback in the NFL, to be honest. I said top 3, but he's one of my favorites. I'm a Georgia boy at heart, even though I'm in Florida.
Oh, you must be.
And, I've watched him his entire career.
So
And I would say, if he were to be put – I'm sorry, go ahead.
I got a trivia question for you, Andre.
Okay.
Who was the only quarterback to lead a team to 0-16?
Say that one more time. I couldn't hear you.
Who was the only quarterback to lead his team to 0-16?
Lead their team to 0-9?
0-16.
That's your drum
I'm
roll,
really
sir.
having trouble hearing you, man. I'm sorry.
0-16. Who was the only quarterback to
0-16.
lead their team to no wins for an entire 16-game season? Who did that?
Goodness. That is a very good question. I would have to do.
It's your
some
best
soul
quarterback in the
searching for that one.
NFL, sir.
Petty Nation. You got a guess?
It's your best quarterback in the
Why
NFL,
would I ask
brother.
that question?
Do. Man, we might have just had to put you in the segment for next week.
I honestly don't know.
No, it's Stafford though, for real. It's Stafford, and then
I'm joking. I love them.
and then there's
Who was it
Deshaun
again?
Kaiser for the Browns. I think one time that was horrible. But hey, man, appreciate you calling into the show. I can totally agree. Stafford is talented, no question. I love the arm angles. I love the swagger and the sexiness that he can put on his play style. But when the man has expectations and when he's asked to win in a big moment, where's the performance against the Cardinals? I don't care about the score. I don't care about his numbers. Where is the win for your team? That is my question is, well, he ran off the line, man. I guess he couldn't hear us. We got to move anyways. But, Stafford's mad talented. I don't take anything major away from him. Okay. I'm not going to put him top 3, 1. No. I think I could go 12. I think I could go top 12. But even then, we're talking about so many talented quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
But we'll go ahead and move. Great segment here on Petty Sports, ladies and gentlemen. We are officially about a third of the way through the NFL season now. So that means we're going to start talking about some MVP candidates. And maybe you watch the show, maybe you don't. We're going to play a little red light, green light. Make it real fun. Red light, green light. You don't have to answer like that, though. It's okay, Fees. I know we're a little more mature than that. But we'll start out from the top, man. Yeah, right. Here we go. Petty, what was it? Petty feud. Aaron Rodgers, Jeopardy, man. We had so much fun. So let's go ahead and get into it. Red light, green light for Lamar Jackson as MVP.
Green light. Absolutely. 5-1. He's passing better than he's ever passed in his career. He's been showing that he can come from behind multiple times. He's still a very electric runner of the football.
Yep.
The Baltimore Ravens, they're better than what I gave them credit for this year, and it is all because of Lamar Jackson. It is not all because of his legs.
Right.
And he's showing that he can throw the football at a very high clip. He can throw it at an elite clip. So, with his team sitting at 5-1, I feel like they're the best team in the AFC at the moment. If they can keep their record that high, at this very moment, he's absolutely an MVP candidate.
I have to agree with you. Green light on my part as well. And, you mentioned it perfectly, throwing more than he ever has in his career. And when you really dig into the numbers, so Lamar Jackson is actually averaging 86 more yards per game this season through 6 games. So you got to take that into account, more than he was in his MVP season. And he didn't even throw for 3,200 yards that year, but he did throw for 36 touchdowns, lead the league. So I got to give that to him. But that is good perspective for you. Now we move on to the next gentleman here, Tom Brady. Red light, green light, MVP.
Green light, easily. 5-1, 344 yards per game, first in the league. 17 touchdowns, second in the league.
Yep.
A 107.9 rating, sixth in the league. Only 3 picks. He's pacing to break the single season passing yards record.
Yep.
Right up on the touchdown record. I mean, if they keep their record like this, then it's a no-brainer that he's absolutely will win the MVP. But as a candidate, green light, easy.
Green light, easy
no
for me as well. Green light, green light, green light. He's on pace for some special records like Fees just said, but the fact that he's engineering that offense with the most passing yards and touchdowns in the league, the only thing that worries me a little bit is they are very dependent on Tom Brady, so you don't know when he's going to crack, if he's ever going to crack, because Tom Brady is like he's aging like a fine bottle of wine. We've all said it. So definitely a green light there for Tom Brady. Now we get into an interesting one here. I was a little skeptical on this to take my side, but red light, green light on Justin Herbert.
Red light. He's sitting at 4-2. The record is actually not bad at all. I feel like he really needed that win over Baltimore. Otherwise,
100%.
it would have been a green light. But after the way they got obliterated and he just completely disappeared in that game, it's a no for me. He could turn it around, but through 6 weeks, red light.
Justin Herbert through 6 weeks as an NFL MVP candidate. I'm going to say orange light. And I know that's not in there, but I'm literally floating in between. And here's why. We knew who Herbert was coming into the season. No question about that. Or at least I did anyways. And he's only taken a slight step forward, but that's not to discount him because he had a hell of a rookie season up front. And the Chargers are playing great football really outside of Baltimore. We know we've all seen that there. But, I'm hesitant because he's not getting the hype that a Kyler, that a Dak, that a Tom Brady's getting. So I'm going to go a little hesitant there. I'll stay orange light here.
What is that, a flesh wound?
What's that?
An orange light?
Yeah.
I mean, you watch Squid Game.
Yeah, it's a flesh
You either
wound.
get shot in the head or you move on.
Well,
I mean, what the hell is orange? Is that a shot in the kneecap, a flesh wound?
Clips you. Like you got to go get recover. I don't know, Fees. You're making me a little uncomfortable. I don't know.
I'm just saying, stop your love affair. It's red. He's dead.
Red.
Week 6, he dies.
Orange or red.
Through 6 weeks, he dies.
Kyler Murray. Red light, green light. NFL MVP this year.
Oh, absolute green light. His team is 6-0. He's got a 116 QB rating, which is third in the entire NFL right now. He's 6 in yards, 6 in touchdowns. I mean, he's running a very prolific offense. His defense is complimenting him well.
Yes.
But what I almost called him Kyrie. What Kyler is doing out there, you can't fault him. And what we also know about the MVP award, your record means a lot.
Yep.
So long as they stay undefeated and he's the best player on the best team and he has comparable stats, then he'll win it. I don't care what anyone else does. So at this moment, easy green light.
Green light as well. He's the betting favorite right now. I mean, Fees laid it all out there, but we knew this type of season was coming for Kyler Murray. We saw who the dude was in Oklahoma. He's the number 1 overall pick for a reason, and he's lighting it up. He's looked great in every year he's played in the NFL and continues to take that step. Great arm, lightning speed, insane accuracy this year, actually leading the NFL in completion percentage right now. And when you talk about Kyler Murray really playing like the best quarterback in the NFL, arguably, 8th in yards, 6th in touchdowns, and like I just said, 1st in completion percentage. So easy green light there for Kyler Murray, who will win. Excuse me. This person coming up here will win comeback player of the year. Dak Prescott, red light, green light for NFL MVP Fees.
Oh, green light. The Dallas Cowboys are sitting at 5-1. He's 3rd in touchdowns, 5th in yards. He's got a 115 QB rating, and he's absolutely proven that he deserved that $75 million that he actually was gifted this season. I know we all thought it was ridiculous and it was crazy, but outside of the team's record, how well he's playing, he plays for the Dallas Cowboys. If you play for America's team and their record is that good and you're putting up numbers, that could get the nod over someone that he doesn't actually deserve to get it over just for the mere fact that he plays for Dallas, a la his rookie season where Zeke should have got Offensive Rookie of the Year, but it went to Dak.
Yep. 100% agree with you. It's going to be a green light for me as well. And if he does this, He will be the first and one of the only few to win comeback player and NFL MVP in the same year. Last one to do it was Adrian Peterson, ran over for 2,000 yards 9 months after the ACL. Still arguably the greatest comeback in sports history. But I got to agree with you. Green light, Dak Prescott, second in completion percentage, third in touchdowns, and he's fifth in yards. And through 6 weeks, he's not making those boneheaded decisions, those silly plays from Dak. He's turning into an any type of play guy. I can show you what I'm made of. Let's play for the money. Dak Prescott is definitely getting the green light here. Josh Allen. A lot of people got some hype about him, and I'm not understanding it really. Josh Allen, red light, green light.
Josh Allen, red light. They're 4-2. I mean, the Buffalo Bills were lighting it up, leading the league in scoring. They have been looking good through 6 weeks, but the 2 games that they lost, they were bad losses.
Yep.
I mean, especially the Pittsburgh loss. That was just disgusting. The Tennessee Titans, they're not a very good football team, and they've been going for it on fourth a lot. I don't know if that's Josh Allen's doing or if that's his offensive coordinator's doing. But what I can say is that the quarterbacks that we've mentioned ahead of him, which all 4 of the previous guys that we've mentioned are quarterbacks, they're ahead of him. So, I mean, just in that mere fact that you've got other quarterbacks ahead of you, red light, he's not in the MVP conversation right now.
I got to agree with you. Right now, he's a red light because a lot of people talk about, Josh Allen's yards, his touchdowns, his touchdown to interception ratio, but he's beating up on bad teams. The Bills don't have a signature win this season yet. Josh Allen does not have that here I am, Buffalo Bills are in the AFC win yet this season. And he's been beating up on bad teams and he's not playing super consistent. I said it earlier, Lamar Jackson right now is a more consistent and arguably better quarterback than Josh Allen. Going to be a red light for me as well. Now let's move on to the man of the hour. Andre, hope you're still here, man. I saw you in the comments just now. Matthew Stafford, you can hold your green light. We know it's coming from you, Andre. Fees, I'll get your answer, but red light, green light for Matt Stafford.
Red light all day. Matthew Stafford is getting a red light. His team is 5-1, and it's not largely in part for him. He does have very good stats, but he's progressively getting worse week to week. Put up big numbers and a huge QB rating in week 1. It kind of tailed off a little in week 2. It got kind of bad in week 3. And then in week 4, you got obliterated by Arizona, and your numbers look terrible.
Yep.
You were very pedestrian in week 5, and then you beat up on the Giants. We're not giving you credit for beating up on the Giants.
Yep.
Matthew Stafford is showing that he's the same quarterback that he was in Detroit. He just has a better team around him. He still overthrows balls at an alarming rate at big moments when they actually need him. And I guarantee you, when you get to postseason, that is going to be detrimental to the Rams.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere, and it's going to be Matt Stafford's fault. And you'll be like, damn, Jared Goff wasn't as bad as we thought.
And Fees and Adam were right, and I should keep watching. Oh, sorry, I'm saying that out loud. My fault. Definitely red light for Fees there. It's going to be a red light for Matt Stafford for me, too. And here's a simple thing. Rams, y'all are all up in the comments section on YouTube. Appreciate the views and the engagement. I talked about your expectations versus reality. It was hard for me to include you in the playoffs this year, but with all the talent around Matt Stafford, you got to make it. But I think when you're talking about someone that could potentially be responsible at the end of the year for a play or decision in the heat of the moment to where it potentially puts you out of where you want to be, I got to look at Matthew Stafford. Red light for me as well. Now, a gentleman who should be getting votes, but it's very hard to do this at his position. Derrick Henry for MVP. Red light, green light, Fees.
Right now, green light. I mean, he's at 783 yards, 10 touchdowns, 0 fumbles. He's pacing for over 2,200 yards, which would easily break the all-time season rushing record. But, I mean, he's looking at eight in the box every Sunday. The only knock that you have on Derrick Henry's MVP hopes is the fact that you've got Brady looking at passing the all-time passing yard and touchdown yard record.
Right.
And then another gentleman that we're going to talk about shortly passing another record that's probably even more difficult to break. So, I mean, as much as he's getting the green light, I don't think he'll win it, but absolutely green light. He's a candidate.
Yeah, gotta agree with you as well. Green light, he's on pace to break some special records also. We're going to be talking about that here soon. And he has not been figured out. Breaking news, guys. Derrick Henry is still here to stay. This man is seeing 7 to 8 in the box, like Fees just said, and he's still averaging 4.8 yards a carry and 125 yards a game. He's going down already as one of the greatest running backs of all time early in his career, and he's continuing to build on it here. Love what I'm seeing from the King, and probably the dopest hair in the league, by the way. Let's go ahead and get into the last one here. Trayvon Diggs, Defensive Player of the Year, no doubt, but could he win MVP? Fees, red light, green light?
Oh, I say green light. I mean, he's got 7 interceptions right now. 2 touchdowns, 11 passes defended, leads the league in all 3 categories, which
Playing
is
at a ridiculous clip.
Insane. He's had at least 1 interception in every single game this season.
Yep.
And just to put it in perspective, 10 interceptions led the league last year, 6 in 2019, 7 in 18, 8 in 17, and 7 in 16.
It's hard to get to just 7 or 8 picks.
Like, he would have tied or led in 3 of the last 5 seasons.
It's a great pull there.
Through 6 games.
Yeah.
He hasn't played a whole season.
That's a hell of a
pull. But we're
pull,
saying
Fees.
he would have won the whole interception lead through 6 games.
Exactly.
The record is 14.
Dude's a receiver in a cornerback's body right now.
He's killing. So he's absolutely an MVP candidate. And he would be the one guy, because of how difficult the record is that he's pushing for to break.
Yep.
He could win it for the first time a defensive player has won in quite some time over Derrick Henry and over even Tom Brady.
I hate to be a shocker here, but I got to say red light. And because of a lot of reasons you said there at the end, I understand he's averaging over a pick a game, which is absolutely crazy. He's on pace to basically obliterate the record. And we're going to get into that soon here with one of the segments. But when you talk about, a defensive player winning it, the last guy to do that was Lawrence Taylor. And he's arguably the greatest lineman of all time, defensive lineman. Like there's no question, linebacker. There's no question about that. And that was back in the 80s. Before that, the last guy went, I think, was 12 years before, back in the mid 70s. It is extremely hard for a defensive player to even get a vote. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I know how the NFL trickles. I got to say red light here on Trayvon Diggs. Man, that was a great segment. Great idea there. Love to hop into that. Good MVP talk. Now we're going to flip to the NBA a little bit. And we got some drama. No baby mama drama, but some drama here for sure up in Philadelphia with Mr. last name Simmons, first name Ben. So he was kicked out of practice, Fees. Absolutely disengaged. I think him and Aaron Rodgers have probably made the most noise in sports recently, especially in their offseason. But, give me your thoughts on his shenanigans, and will Philly even be a contender this year with all this noise in the franchise?
I mean, Philly will absolutely not be a contender with or without Ben Simmons. It really didn't matter if he was going to play or not. They're not a contender. That team was good enough for the Eastern semis with him. Without him, they might lose in the first round. But that team just wasn't that good. And I mean, just to bring it full circle, Ben Simmons is ridiculous. I mean, he is a really, really good player. We won't slight how good he is. I mean, he's made first team all defense 2 times, 3-time all-star. I mean, averaging 16, 8, and 8, basically. He signed a 5-year, $170 million extension just in 2019. So he's on contract with the team through 2024, 2025. And he's sitting out there going to practice, declining to do drills, and acting as if, I don't like it here. I don't want to play here because you guys don't like me, and you're talking about me. Like, he's extremely coddled.
He's a sensitive little boy.
He was like that at LSU. Nobody could say anything to him. And, I mean, the whole thing is his fault. It's like, yeah, bro, we all understand you're a good player, but you can't shoot. And you won't shoot. And your shooting is disgusting at a historic clip for a point guard.
Yeah.
He's 5 for 34 from 3 for his career.
Worst free throw percentage in any postseason run, and he's in elite class with Wilt Chamberlain and Shaquille O'Neal. And he has the worst out of the both of them. Even DeAndre Jordan, who was like the worst free throw shooter ever. I mean, barely sniffed the playoffs with the Clippers, but still, he's historically bad.
He's a 59.7% free throw shooter, 56% from the field.
Yeah.
He can't shoot.
No, not at all.
It's disgusting.
He's a bigger, more athletic Westbrook, basically, but with him being so big, you got to take into account, should he even be a guard? I mean, really, he's 6'10", super long arms, lightning quick speed, can run the floor, dunk the ball, get you a rebound, block you a shot. Should he be a guard? I don't think he should be a guard. I think he should be a forward.
At 6'10", he could play power forward. He could be a swing forward.
Exactly. Let him develop. Okay, he's not going to develop a little bit of a shot, but if you can get him just getting out of that, self-conscious bubble that he's in, because you look at trade talks to miss free throws to basically burning alive in the postseason, and I got to say, the Hawks series did it in for him. Once Joel Embiid threw his arms up at the top of the arc because Ben Simmons was literally looking through the top of the basket, and he passed the ball, immediately knew he was scared. He was totally psyching himself out in that series. But Ben Simmons needs to be grateful. He should feel lucky because let's think about the state of Philadelphia and how harsh they really are on their athletes, okay? They give people hell. And they've basically coddled him at this point. You're pitching a fit. Oh, I can't get traded, so I'm not going to come back. I'm not coming to training camp. But then you lose $10 million, and then you're back at practice, but you're still disengaged. And now you're kicked out. And now your team doesn't have you on opening night. It's just a constant trickle effect here with Ben Simmons. And, if anything, Doc Rivers is already really scrutinized as a head coach. I know he might not be, in on the gig, and it might be, I guess, outside of his power to do whatever with a player. But, he's calling some sort of shots in Philadelphia. And keeping Ben Simmons around, you're stripping your team of title contention, but you're also staining your legacy as a head coach, in my opinion, dealing with that toxicity in Ben Simmons. But yeah,
he says he'll beat Ben Simmons on a horse.
Beat him in horse. Jeez.
I mean, I'll take that bet. I can beat him on a horse too.
I'll take it too. Thank you, Jackie.
Let's just shoot free throws.
Right.
I promise you, I'll beat you from the stripe.
Unless Ben Simmons just comes out like he is on social media and decides to shoot threes and piss off the fan base, and then he just he is literally like two different, he's trying to read two different books at the same time, and it's literally impossible. You cannot figure out Ben Simmons. But I know we're almost at the 9:30 break here. We got one segment to hit before we get to the picks. I think we're going to be good for time, though. Bell, I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to you, brother, before we get into the over-under. Not going to tell you what it's on, though. Over to you, Mike.
Appreciate that, man. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much once again for tuning in Wednesday night, every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock to Petty Sports, right here with Adam and Famous Facts Fees, man. All brought to you by Kingz Broadcasting Studios. Thanks for everybody that shared the show tonight. We greatly appreciate it. Chat room jumping. Had a call tonight. Who's next? 678-871-9602. 678-871-9602. Hey, call in. Let us know what you're thinking, all right? Go to Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart, all that, man. You know what I'm saying? Join, like, follow, share, subscribe, and keep sharing the show, man. We greatly appreciate it. Without no you, there is no us, all right? KingzBroadcasting.com. Go over there, hit that donate button at the bottom of the page, spend some money, open your wallets, show your love. You know what I'm saying? Don't just give it lip service. Put something behind it. You know what I mean? Like some of them greenbacks. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what we like. Them greenbacks. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all that, man. You know what I'm saying? Book a face. Hey, TL Ho. Back to the regular schedule program.
You already know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. Jumping into another great segment here on Petty Sports. Love y'all getting in the chat. Again, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. It's not about where we are. It's about where you listen. Wesley, what's going on, man? You missed us typing up your Titans because I don't think we have. Well, no. You're actually in time. Yeah, talking about a great player for you. You didn't miss the NFL talk. We're actually going through a great segment here and getting into all the picks, man. So thank you for joining us this fine evening on a KBS presentation. All right, Triple F, let's get into it, man. So we have over-under on single-season NFL records being broken. And we'll start from the top with the GOAT, Tom Brady. Fees over or under on his passing yards record. Beautiful graphic there for you, ladies and gentlemen, so you can see the perspective on their progress. Fees over under.
I'm going to go over on this one. He's got one more game, and I think that is the absolute difference, plus the remaining schedule for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep.
I mean, Brady is projecting to throw for 5,848 yards because he's throwing at 344 yards per game, which is at a slightly higher clip, and he's got one extra game, which means he doesn't have to actually stay over the yards per game average from what Peyton Manning actually threw. And I think that one game will be the difference. He's projecting to throw almost 400 yards more than what Peyton threw.
Yeah.
But for what he's throwing, he doesn't have to. He can throw 100 yards more, which means he can actually have a couple of games where he doesn't do as much. So I think that with an extra game, he's absolutely going to pass this record.
I agree with you, man. I'm taking the over as well. I mean, Tom Brady's playing with his best team. He's playing with the most weapons ever. He's got one more game under his belt, to get. And Tom Brady just looks unfazed right now. I mean, it's a scrimmage. It's easy. He's chilling. He's seen it all before. He's throwing to great guys on his team, like regular season Lenny, Lombardi Lenny, playoff Lenny is absolutely emerging right now, like for this team. And it's all helping Tom Brady's case. And even better, so out of 11 games left, only 4 games, I would say, would interrupt his pace. You've got the Bears, who are the eighth best passing defense. Bills are first. And then you play the Panthers twice, and we've seen Brady when he plays a team twice. He can figure him out. So Fees and I are in agreement there. We're going to take the over on Tom Brady breaking Peyton Manning's regular season passing record. Sticking with Tom Brady here, Fees. Over or under on him passing, yes, Peyton Manning's single season passing touchdown record. Over or under?
I'm going under on the touchdown record because of the same reason. They have a very soft remaining schedule. I think he will throw for the yards, but in order for him to pass this record on the touchdowns, he would actually have to make a conscious effort to stay in at the end of blowouts and throw touchdowns in order to specifically beat this record, because he's actually throwing at a lesser clip than what Peyton was, because he's at 2.83 touchdowns per game where Peyton was at 3.44. I don't think he's going to pass this even with an extra game.
Yep. So I'm going to take the under as well on Tom Brady passing Peyton Manning's passing touchdown record for the regular season. And he's on pace for 48, which is 7 short of Manning's record. But, again, Brady is aging like fine wine. So we don't know what Brady could potentially hop into. And he leads the NFL in touchdowns right now, but also attempts. And that's what really concerns me is I'm not saying Tom Brady's going to crack under pressure or, I can't confidently say that he won't get injured. I'm not wishing anything bad on him, but leading the league in passing attempts, being the oldest player in the league, of course you look great, but that just, is a little bit of a recipe for fatigue later on down the road and could hold you up short of that record. And he's only thrown 3 picks as well. He's still got to get into the groove there. I think some more interceptions will come and just overall hold him short of the single season record for passing touchdowns. So taking the under on that. All right, Wesley, listen up, brother. Here's your king, your majesty, your offense, your savior, your best player. Derrick Henry, over or under for the most rushing yards in a single season, passing Eric Dickerson. What a name.
Under. Eric Dickerson went for 2105 in that historic 1984 season, 16 games. He only had 379 carries. Derrick Henry's on pace to have 459 carries, which will be 80 carries more for just 2218, which I say just 2218, but with 80 carries more and you only being 100 yards more, I don't really see it happening. Eric Dickerson averaged more yards per carry, ended with 14 touchdowns. I think he'll have more than 14 touchdowns. I don't see him actually eclipsing this record, if for no other reason than seeing 8 in the box every week. You're going to play some very tough rush defenses that really their only goal is to make sure that you aren't the one that beats them. You're not doing that every week. I don't see this record getting beaten even with an extra game.
Heard on that. Let me take the flip side. I'm going to take an over on here with Derrick Henry surpassing the single season NFL rushing yard record. And you look, he's actually on pace to run for 2,216 yards right now. And he only has 1 game under 100 yards. And that was week 1 against what we now call the best team in the league in the Arizona Cardinals. And like I said, he's not been figured out. Over 750 yards, 10 touchdowns, only the 3rd running back to ever do that through his first 6 games in the NFL. And you want to talk about, again, Derrick Henry being so young, just engineering the GOAT status so early in his legacy. Got to give the hats off to the dude. I think he's going to go over here. Sticking with Derrick Henry, over or under on the all-time rushing touchdown record in a single season by yours truly, LaDainian Tomlinson with 28.
I'm going under on that as well. With an extra game, he's projected to actually tie the record, and he's scoring touchdowns at a slightly lower clip. He's projected to run over 100 more times than LaDainian Tomlinson did.
Jeez.
And LaDainian had 348 attempts in that season. If Derrick Henry keeps running at the same clip he's running, he's going to have 459 attempts. It'll be substantially more rushes.
Would that be the most carries in a season ever? It would have to be.
I mean, it's possible. I don't think it will be, but
God, half 1,000 carries.
It's going to be way up. But jeez. I think that record is safe.
Yeah.
Even if he gets the yards, he's still not going to get the touchdowns. Like, teams are not, like, when we get closer to the end of the season, That's going to be like the opposing team's defense's goal.
Literally.
Is not to let Derrick Henry get this record on you.
100%. 100%. I agree with you. I am going to take actually the over on this one, though, because, okay, so here's the thing. It is a very close call, but when you look at the fact that he is on pace to tie the record right now, like you said, with 28, but with the extra game, that he's going to have under his belt. But only 5 of his last 11 games on the schedule are going to have a rush defense that's going to be in the top half of the NFL, and only 2 of those teams are going to be top 10 at that point. I think he's going to tear the AFC South up in every game this year. We know he's going to run through the Texans. He's probably going to run through the Colts. Derrick Henry always has that one game at the end of the year, that little 250, maybe not a 300-yard game, but he's going to go for over $2. He's going to be looking fantastic, couple touchdowns in. I think he can take the over on this record this year. It would be crazy to see somebody run for 30 rushing touchdowns in an NFL season, but we will have to wait and see. Devonta Adams, best wide receiver in the NFL last year, chasing a crazy record. It would kind of break my heart to see him surpass this. Megatron's receiving yard record in an NFL season. Over or under, fees?
Under. Absolutely not going to happen. I mean, the numbers that Calvin Johnson put up in 16 games, he had 204 targets, 122 receptions, but 1,964 yards.
Yep.
Even as ridiculous as how many targets and catches Devonta Adams has gotten so far this season, with an extra game, he's projected to get 1,892 yards. So he's still going to be a good 72 yards shy of what Calvin Johnson did.
Yeah.
He's averaging 11 yards less per game than Calvin Johnson did, even as much as he's being targeted. And I would be remiss to say that at some point in the season, playing against Green Bay, teams will start doubling, if not tripling, Devonta Adams and forcing them to beat them with somebody else.
Yeah.
And that will greatly hurt his chances of getting this record. I don't see any way possible Devonta Adams is going to do it.
100% agree with you, Fees. I'm going to take the under as well. And, here's the big thing. Devonta Adams has only played all 16 games in his career twice in a season. You saw him get banged up the other year with turf toe. That was a huge factor for Green Bay going down. And we've seen Devonta Adams time and time again. And I'm not, I can't say that he's not injury prone because he does miss time. But when you talk about, the amount of targets and just the workload he gets overall, he's going to be due for an injury at one point in this season. There's no question about that. I hope not, but from what we've seen, you have to bank on it. And you look, he's already played 4 top 15 passing defenses in the NFL and only has really 4 favorable matchups for the rest of the season when you look through their schedule. And again, like I said, the Packers are so Devonta Adams dependent. They have to get another wide receiver, in my opinion, to keep Adams healthy for as long as they want him to. And at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers for 17 games, being able to feed Devonta enough to get Megatron's record, I just don't see that panning out over the span of the NFL season. And like you said, it's going to be people's literally job. If you lose by 45 today, I don't give a damn. Stop Devonta Adams. That's what I want you to do, and that could be what he's facing here. This is going to be a great one, though. Trayvon Diggs chasing Night Train Lane's 1950 record. He did that as a freshman, 14 picks as a freshman. Over under on the single season interception record, Fees.
I'm going under, and it's crazy just when we really put it into perspective. When Night Train Lane did this in 1950, they only played 12 games.
Jeez, and I put 16. You exposed me.
He finished the season. He finished the season at a 1.16 interception per game rate, which is actually exactly where Trayvon Diggs is at right now.
Wow.
If he was to complete that in a 17-game season, he'd be just a slight tick under 20 picks for the season.
Yep.
Which, if people kept throwing at him, I think Trayvon Diggs actually could do that. Yep. But that's going to be the caveat. At some point, people are going to stop throwing the ball at him. I think Trayvon will max out around 11 interceptions, which will still be a historically great season for a corner.
Right.
By every stretch of the imagination.
Only a handful of corners have double-digit picks in their season.
There's no way that every team they play for the next 11 games is going to keep throwing the ball at him. Yep. They've seen what he can do. They've seen what happens when you throw it near him. If someone tips it, then he'll go get it. I don't think he gets the record just for the mere fact that he's about to end up being one of those islands. It's going to be Diggs Island.
Yep.
You're going to the other side of the field, and that's going to kill his numbers. But he'll be a Pro Bowler.
Feel that, man. Feel that. And, you have a great point there, but I'm going to take the over, and the over again. Like you said, this kid is on pace for damn near 20 interceptions. And I know 17 games, but he's playing with what he's got. He's chasing a record, and that's what he's got in front of him at the end of the day. A pick in every game. This is a wide receiver playing a cornerback right now. Best ball hawk skills, best ball skills in the NFL as a corner right now. And like you said, the only way this wouldn't be able to happen is if it turns into Diggs Island. And look, we're just not going to throw your way. You're going to lock down receivers, but it's going to be a big part in why we're not throwing your way. And also at the end of the day, half of his picks did come against not great quarterbacks right now, and half of his remaining schedule will cut it very close, some of the quarterbacks he's going to see for the rest of this season. But I'm still going to take the over on Trayvon Diggs breaking that record. Last one here, Myles Garrett, over-under on the single-season sack record set by Michael Strahan with 22.5.
Man, back in 2001, that was just extremely outlandish.
Yeah.
And what everybody says, Brett Favre laid down to make sure that he got that record. It was like they had something going on. It was like, man, I wanted you to get it. He let him sack him.
Here you go, buddy.
But, I mean, that's not even what we're talking about here. 22.5 sacks is just extremely ridiculous. Myles Garrett right now has 8 sacks, going at a clip of 1.3 per game. Strahan was at 1.4, so he's on pace to go 22.6, which would be just 1/10 of a sack over what the record is.
Yep.
The only reason I say that he's not going to get it is because of the current state of the Cleveland Browns offense. If Cleveland's offense was able to sustain a steady attack, then you would say that they would be ahead or at least in games, forcing teams to pass.
Gonna be on the field too much.
What they're looking like, other teams are going to be running because they'll be up, and he's not even going to have opportunities to get that many sacks. He needs the offense to be good in order for him to get sacks at that rate. So for that reason, I say under. Only because teams won't be passing enough for him to get that many sacks.
Yeah. All right, man. All right. Under as well, but let's take a look at why it would be an under for Myles Garrett. So he has 3.5 sacks in 5 games outside of that 4.5 sack game against the Bears. That was an awful game. Justin Fields was sacked, 9 times in that game? 1 net passing yard. We saw that whole debacle. We broke it down here on the show. But he's not getting sacks against good teams, and he even had 0 sacks against the Houston Texans. And don't hold that as the measuring stick, but that's just putting into perspective that Myles Garrett is a little underperforming this year. And you look at Cleveland's defense, they're starting to crack a little bit. The offense isn't holding up, like Fee said. They're going to be tired. Myles Garrett is not going to get this record. And when you look at the rest of his schedule, it's actually pretty favorable for him to get this record because most of the teams are in the top half of the NFL in sacks allowed, but I'm still going to take the under here, mainly because he's really got 3.5 sacks in 5 games outside of the Justin Fields debacle. All right, man, we got about 20 minutes here left on the show. Bell, I will throw it back to you for one last break before we go ahead and get into the Week 7 picks. Bell, you got me over there? I feel like Bell can't hear me. Can y'all hear me?
No.
I don't think they can. No worries. I'll hit it here.
Go ahead, roll into the picks.
You already know. Yes, sir. So NFL Week 7 picks. Week 6 fees. 9-5. I was 12-2. Thought I was 11-3, but I guess I was 12-2. G will show the beautiful graphic there for you. You see all the winners, all the losers, whatever we did and didn't have. 62-32 on the season for yours truly. Fees at 59-35, but I know he'll catch me in the near future. Let's go ahead and pick every single NFL game from Week 7, Triple F. Broncos at Browns. Browns are -2 in this game. No Baker Mayfield. Lot of injuries right now. And who you got winning this one?
I'm still taking the Cleveland Browns because I have zero faith in the Denver Broncos. I mean, they have the most safe quarterback in the history of the NFL in Teddy Bridgewater. But if we look at the Cleveland Browns and what they're looking at, like there's no Baker Mayfield. They're going with Case Keenum, but Case Keenum has played with Stefanski. You're saying he's working with a makeshift offense. They don't have Nick Chubb. It's possible that Kareem Hunt may not play, but Stefanski is, I would venture to say that he's more comfortable with opening the offense to Case Keenum than he is to Baker Mayfield. You might see Cleveland offense look completely different than what we've seen all season long, or if you could rewind to say for the last 4 years long, that Cleveland is still going to win this game. You're going to be scratching your head. It's like, what the hell? Everyone's hurt. How are they doing this? Cleveland Browns are going to win.
Got to go with the upset, man. Broncos here. I mean, simply put, Browns are lost. They're wildly disappointing right now. Feels like they've got injuries piling up, and there's not going to be Baker Mayfield. I know there's the Stefanski, Keenum, reunited, but so much pressure in this game. And it kind of feels like a trap game in a way with the Broncos. I am going to take the Broncos with the upset here. They will take the W. Chiefs at Titans. Titans are plus 5.5, and this is a AFC Championship rematch game. Chiefs or Titans? Who you got?
Oh, it is. It's the AFC Championship rematch game. People are looking at the Chiefs and then the Titans. They're like, oh, the Titans really showed up against the Buffalo Bills last week. Derrick Henry killed them. They've got momentum. Everybody's a prisoner of the moment. And just understand who Tennessee is. Tennessee looked like this before the last time they played Kansas City. Kansas City wasn't reeling like they are, but the Chiefs still have the same offensive firepower that they did beforehand. The Chiefs will get out to a big lead.
Yeah.
The Texans will try to keep running Henry. It's going to just prove to be too much. I'm still taking the Chiefs. I don't have any faith in the Tennessee Titans to duplicate that performance or do better than what they have done against the Chiefs in the past, even though this Chiefs team isn't the Chiefs that we have known in the past. They'll pull out a win over the Titans.
Got to disagree with you there, Fees. I'm taking the Titans with the upset. They are plus 5.5, and they're going to win some money this weekend, no doubt. The Chiefs can't beat good teams, at the end of the day, and the Titans are good per se after beating Buffalo. I think they're a good team after being able to upset an elite team in Buffalo. The Chiefs still lead the NFL in turnovers, and the Titans are coming off a major win, like I just told you about the Bills. And, the Titans offense was literally rolling in on an elite defense. Weapons were there, and they just made it happen. They absolutely beat the Bills in a great game, and I'm going to have the Titans taking that energy over to the Chiefs, beating them here in the rematch that they've probably wanted for a while now. Washington at Packers. So that's what came. There we go. Washington at Packers. Green Bay minus 8.5. Who you got?
I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers easily. Washington has showed us absolutely nothing. Taylor Heineke is not a bad quarterback, but their defense has been getting zero pressure. Chase Young has been an afterthought since an amazing rookie campaign. He's not going to give Aaron Rodgers any problems. Devonta Adams is going to continue on to making you think that he's actually going to beat that NFL record. The Green Bay Packers win. I don't know about them covering that spread because their defense has got a lot to be desired, but the Packers win.
I take the Packers as well. They're minus 8.5. They'll cover the spread. Aaron Rodgers against literally the worst defense statistically in the NFL. Easy W for all Packers players. Start all your Packers players in fantasy. This is going to be a blowout here. On to the next one. Bengals at Ravens. Ravens minus 6.5. This is probably going to be the best game of the weekend. Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. Who takes home the W for their team?
I mean, it absolutely will be the best game to watch for the weekend, but I'm still going to take the Baltimore Ravens just for the mere fact of, Lamar is like a mixed bag of tricks.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if he needs to run for 100 or if he needs to throw for 400. He's now showing you that he's capable of doing both. Whichever the defense is giving him, he can take it. He's like a point guard that can shoot, dunk on you, and pass. It's almost not fair. So, even against the Cincinnati Bengals team that actually has showed a lot of promise. They look good this season. He's sitting at 4-2. I wouldn't be mad at you if you pick Cincinnati. I think this could be an upset. It's a division rivalry game. But the Baltimore Ravens, between their defense and what Lamar is doing, I don't see any way that Cincinnati beats them. The Ravens are winning.
Got the Ravens taking it here as well. Now, I am going to stay away from the line. Minus 6.5 is a little too much for me here. But the Ravens keep winning big when they need to. Lamar leading the way, doing things we thought that he couldn't do. We talked about it. But the Bengals are balanced. They're very hungry, and they love to hang around until the end. And the Ravens will win. They won't cover, though, and I think that's because Cincinnati actually has a sneaky good defense, and a lot of people are giving credit for. They can actually stop the run there a little bit. All right, Panthers at Giants. Giants are +2.5 in this one. Man, the Panthers have gotten ugly real fast. 3 straight losses after 3 straight W's. Who takes home this one, though?
I mean, I think Carolina will right the ship. I mean, the New York Giants are a bad football team. Their defense isn't good. Their offense has big names, but they're not clicking.
Yeah.
Carolina's defense will all of a sudden look like it's as good as what it looked like in the first 3 games of the season. Sam Darnold, he's not consistent. He is a decent quarterback.
Not playing good the last 3 games.
And from what people apparently thought, they were like, I thought you said that he was good. Like, yes, I said he was good. Good
Playing
does
well.
not mean elite.
Right.
Good does not mean great.
Right.
Good means he's good. He's not trash. He's not bad. He's not what he looked like when he was with the Jets, but he's also not going to take you to 15-2 and to the Super Bowl. But he can absolutely take you to a W over the New York Giants, and he will do that this week. Sam Darnold will have a bounce-back game. The Carolina Panthers will win this week.
Got the Carolina Panthers winning as well. I'll give them the W. And, you know, Carolina being 0-3 since that 3-0 start, missing out on Christian McCaffrey, you definitely see that there. Darnold's not playing well since McCaffrey went out, and he's kind of reverting back to that New York Jets style that a lot of people said, hey, when you made this trade, what kind of player are you getting in? And Darnold is rearing his head right now, unfortunately, but I don't think that's going to stick around forever. But the Giants are missing Saquon. They're missing Galladay more than likely. And, you know, I barely trust Carolina to win this football game, but I think they will win. And, you know, they'll beat the Giants at home, no question. Falcons at Dolphins. Dolphins are +2.5 in this game. Falcons are coming off a nice rested bye week W out in London against Zach Wilson and the Jets. Falcons at Dolphins.
I mean, I think it'll be more of what we saw against the Jets. I think the Falcons will come out. They'll take a nice lead in the beginning of this game. They'll probably implode like they normally do, let the Dolphins get back into the football game. But the Dolphins have nothing that resembles a real NFL quarterback. Jacoby Brissett is not going to engineer a comeback to actually win a game.
Tua's back.
I think I can give you the exact same analysis with Tua Tagovailoa.
Right.
Tua is
Or to save you from the
not
Dolphins
going
fans
to-
jumping in the comments.
Tua's not going to engineer a comeback. Like whichever quarterback that you have, Miami fans, they're not engineering a comeback.
Bring Fitty Pat in
The
there.
Atlanta Falcons are going to go to South Beach and come back to the city with a W over a bad Dolphins team.
Yep.
And that's happening.
I agree. I 100% agree. Going to take the Falcons here. And, you know, no one's really talking about how efficient Matt Ryan has been this year. So he threw 3 picks in the Bucks game, 2 of which were a pick 6 and obviously another interception. He hasn't thrown a pick outside of that game. Matt Ryan is playing really efficient football right now, and he's only been sacked 8 times all year. That's hats off to Atlanta right now. I think they got enough energy off the bye. They're going to go in against the Dolphins. They're going to win. Matt Ryan's going to get you some more great fantasy points. And you know what's sad? Because the Dolphins are underdogs at home. They just lost to the Jags. And I actually figured out, like, earlier today that you picked the Jags too. I thought you had the Dolphins. So good upset call there. I feel like that was some easy money there for Vegas. What are they thinking? But all right, Jets at Patriots, and Patriots are -7. We've seen this ugly plank walk before for the Jets. Who you got in this one? Even though I know.
Absolutely taking the Patriots. I think this game, with the Jets being as bad as they are, this will be the coroning game for Mac Jones. This will be Mac Jones' first 300-plus passing yard game where they actually open the offense. They'll do it because they have confidence against a bad Jets team.
Yeah.
They know Zach Wilson is going to give up interceptions. They know that defense doesn't really pose a threat. So, I mean, Mac will look he'll look his best. Like the best game that he's had as a professional
Will be against
thus
the Jets.
far. It'll be a massacre for New England that'll mean absolutely nothing, but the Patriots will blow them out.
It'll be a nice W in the column for New England. Yeah, I agree. It's going to be an ugly one here for the Jets. I've got the Patriots winning, definitely covering your spread. And, you know, at the end of the day, Bill Belichick absolutely ate the Jets and Zach Wilson alive. I don't really see anything different. The Patriots are feeling great coming off of that unfortunate loss, you know, against the Dallas Cowboys. But they played them down to the wire, and they're going to be looking for a W here. I know you said it doesn't mean much, but the Patriots will take this one. Eagles at Raiders. This was a really hard one for me to pick for some reason. But the Raiders are a real quiet 4-2. That John Gruden scenario kind of brought some clouding into everybody's head. But Raiders -3. Eagles at Raiders. Who you got?
I'm going to take the Raiders. Just like what I told you last week. I told you the Raiders would roll the Denver Broncos just because John Gruden is out. When you erase a toxic element from a team, whether it be a football, basketball, whatever sport that you're talking about, the team rallies behind it. And they always rally off a couple of good wins and big wins. I think the Raiders are going to keep rolling. They will beat the Philadelphia Eagles, even though Jalen Hurts will put up a fight. I'm going to take Derek Carr and his boys.
Going to take Derek Carr as well. I think the Raiders will win -3. They'll cover the spread. But this is going to be a down-to-the-wire game. And honestly, I feel like this spread could be a trap because I think it literally will be that close. But the Eagles did just give Tampa a good run on Thursday Night Football. I know it was kind of getting away there for a second, but they were coming back. Like, they had a chance to get into that football game. And if you watch, you know exactly what I'm talking about there. But Jalen Hurts is still finding himself. I love to see him still taking small steps. Such a great quarterback in college. Y'all have heard me talk about it. I don't like the Jalen Hurts slander whatsoever. I think he can be a future great quarterback in this league. I just still don't think he's in the right system in Philadelphia. And, you know, the Raiders are still drowning out a little bit of that John Gruden sense. But, again, 4-2, Raiders should go. Here we are. So, Lions at Rams. What a line. Rams at -15. Who takes on this one?
I'm going to take the Rams. I don't know if they'll actually make that line. I think Jared Goff is going to come out and have a big game. They're not going to win, but Jared will throw well over 300 yards, and he'll show them that he was supposed to be the quarterback there, but ultimately the Rams will win.
Yeah, got the Rams winning as well, 100%. I do think they cover the spread. A lot of people are caught up on this one. But, you know, overall, this Goff's revenge game, he's here to show McVay this is what you shouldn't have done to me. But I think the Rams take this one. It shouldn't be a problem. Lions are the only win this team in the NFL right now. Bears at Bucks. Bucks -12.5. Crazy line again from Vegas. This is easy money right here. Who do you have?
Yeah, man, I'm going to take the Bucks. I think they'll cover the spread. I mean, the spread is because they got a rookie quarterback out there. They know their defense is good, but the defense is going against Brady. Brady knows what happened to him last time. Last time he played the Bears, that's when he was like, he thought there were 5 downs.
4?
Yeah. He's going to be extra laser focused against them. I think Tampa rolls Chicago, and they'll easily cover the spread.
I don't think they roll Chicago or cover the spread. I do think they win, but when you look at Tampa not having a good chunk of their defense right now, you're still not counting on Gronk to come back. And the Bears have a top 10 passing defense, so we'll see. We know Tom Brady's playing at a crazy level right now. I got the Bucks to win, not taking the points, though. Texans at Cardinals, -17.5. Biggest line of the weekend. Easy money. Who you got?
Man, I'm taking the Cardinals, and I think they will cut spread. Davis Mills has nothing for the level of balance in that defense that the Arizona Cardinals are coming with. Kyler Murray is going to put up crazy numbers. They have a lot of touchdowns, a lot of rushing yards. It's going to be ugly. That game's not even going to be worth watching.
100%. Taking the Cardinals, cover the spread, blowing out the Texans. Bye-bye, Houston. Colts at Niners. Niners -4.
Niners -4 is an interesting line. I think the Colts are actually going to win this football game.
This is going to be a pick to get you up on me, man.
The Colts have defense. The Colts have that scrub quarterback that I actually don't like. But I think this is a sneaky game where the Indianapolis Colts will go into, where do they play at? Levi Stadium.
Yep.
And they'll take out San Francisco.
Got an upset there. I'm going to take the Niners. Niners win with -4 here. I think they cover the spread as well. This is going to be a very interesting game because Carson Wentz has played decent the last few games, but I don't see him withholding against a Niners defense. I'll take them to win at home and cover the spread, so you win your money there. Last one here before we roll out. My boys, the Houdat Nation, New Orleans Saints at the Seahawks. Seahawks +5 at home. Maybe Cam Newton, maybe Geno Smith. Who you got?
Whether it's Cam Newton, Geno Smith, doesn't matter. I think the state of Seattle, where they're sitting right now, backs are up against the wall, last in the division. Their record is horrible. They need a win. They're going to play inspired. I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks in the upset.
I know you're doing that
to take
on
this
purpose.
game.
I hear you, V's. I'll take the Saints to upset. They got Quan coming back. They've got Traquan Smith. They're possibly looking at Will Lutz coming back from IR. They're getting a lot of their dudes back, and it's people that they need. Marcus Davenport, they need to win on the road. They want to bump that record up, and I just think the Saints are the better football team right now. That's going to wrap it up for your Week 7 NFL picks. Appreciate y'all tuning in tonight. Facebook was going crazy. Appreciate the views on YouTube. Again, every Wednesday, 8 p.m. It's not about where we are. It's about where you listen to the show. Sub, call next week, and we will see y'all next Wednesday at 8. Fees, take us out, man.
Yes, sir. We are now officially every Wednesday night. The docket has changed. It's every Wednesday. You tune in Wednesday night, 8 to 10 p.m., Petty Sports, live and direct, in your living room, on your phone, on your TV, wherever you listen. Y'all tune in, listen to us, chop it up, call the show. That's what we do. It's your boy, Famous Fees. They call me Facts, and we out. Yes, sir.
Let's go, baby. Best show of the NFL season so far. Yes, sir.
Hey, go Braves.
Let's get
They
it.
up 5-0
Yes,
right
sir.
now. And the bottom of the 5th. You know what I'm saying? So shouts out to the ATL, man. Bring it on home.
Next week, 8 p.m., Wednesday. Be there.